Chapter 1. I guess I could start this story out talking about the abuse I suffered or the pain and heartache I have felt or something like that. Well, I won't. Instead, I will tell you about myself and my unique situation. There have only been a few people in all history who are like me. When I say like me, I don't mean the vessel of a tailed beast or the son of a Kage or even the plague of the village. No, when I say people like me, I am talking about something the world has forgotten about. A being who has the ability to change. Now you may say everyone can change. Well, that would be true if the change is just something simple like a weight where you live, who you hang with, who you love or hate. That is not the change I am talking about. Perhaps it would be best if I started with what know and then explain what you don't know. You all know how I was tricked into stealing the Forbidden Scroll and put on Team 7. You all know I went to Wave and saved the country. You all know about the Chunin exams and the fight at the Valley of the End. But that is what you truly don't know. That event changed my life forever. Ironic, Sasuke said he wanted to cut all bonds. If he knew the bond he truly cut that day, he would kill himself. After he stabbed me in the chest with a Chidori, he caused my body to die originally. As I was laying there, Kyuubi did something no one would ever think a demon could do. He cried. In that moment, the evil that had consumed him for 10,000 years was broken. In that moment, when the Shinigami came to take our souls, he made a deal with death. Let me tell you about it. Flash Kyuubi Cage Naruto was leaning against a wall, feeling his spirit leaving his body. He was tired. Tired of the pain and tired of the loneliness. Tired of the hate and tired of being tired. A white light appeared and a spirit in a black robe descended from the ceiling and said, "It's time, mortals." A sob sound was heard, and both the figure and Naruto looked over at the cage, and Kyuubi said, "I want to ask you something, Shinigami. Do you have the power to bestow the heavenly powers?" The Shinigami said, "Yes, Kitsune." "Why?" Kyuubi said, "I offer you a trade. You know the seal won't take me and I will be freed within 20 years. The Shinigami said, "Yes, I know not enough time has passed for it to take you fully. What do you care?" Kyuubi said, "I will give myself for a trade. You know you won't have to take another soul for 100 years with mine and can take a vacation and let the others take your place during that time. In exchange, I asked for a few things." The Shinigami said in a neutral tone, "That would be." Kyuubi looked at Naruto and said, "The kid here. You know what his life has been like because of me. I want to repay him for giving me something I have not had in 10,000 years. Hope. To repay him, I want him to keep my power, but I also want him to have the heavenly power of Phoenix." The Shinigami looked at him and said, "Why do you want this mortal to have that power?" Kyuubi said, "No matter what, the kid will have humans trying to kill him because of me, even with me gone. So that is why I want him to have my power. The Phoenix power is so he can correct the mistakes of humans. I think he is worthy because he has a pure spirit." The Shinigami looked at Naruto and said, "I can give it to him, but he will not be able to go back to birth. I will set it up so he can't go back before the age of 5. To keep this power and be able to use it again, he must save one life for every time he goes back. If he goes back, he will have to start from the same day every time. He must try and make the best life he can because he will be judged off of that life when he gives up the power." Kyuubi said, "Very well. I agree to those terms." Naruto looked at what was going and tried to speak, but did not even have the energy to speak. The Shinigami said, "You will train him also, Kitsune, to properly use your powers. So I won't be taking you soul yet. You will have to explain a few things to him, including his family. Do you agree?" Kyuubi said yes. The Shinigami said, "Good," and drew his sword and walked to Naruto and stabbed him in the seal on his stomach and then pulled it out and said, "You will rise from the ashes of death to correct the wrongs you deem worthy to correct. You are now until the time you decide to release this power, the Phoenix," and placed the sword on Naruto's forehead, causing him to scream out in pain as an emblem of a phoenix appeared. The next thing Naruto saw was red flames, and he woke up in his apartment in his bed and was 5 years old. This day would be his focus point until he deemed his life worthy. I began my training under the Kyuubi, and I learned some lesson, but I had yet to make it past the Valley of the End. The 3 times I have gone back today started my 4th time. Chapter 2. Naruto blinked and sighed, looking up at the ceiling, and said, "So it begins again." He got up out of bed and went through his morning ritual. He quickly got dressed in his hideous orange suit and left his apartment. First stop the Hokage office. Naruto took about 30 minutes getting across town to make it to the tower, but not before pushing a civilian out of the way of a falling plant. He then snuck past the 2 guards at the mission room. He walked into the lobby of the Hokage's office and used a simple henge to look like Asuma and said, "Is Dad in?" To the secretary. She blinked and said, "Of course, Asuma. Go on in." Asuma nodded and said, "You might want to hold his appointments. This is going to take a while." The secretary nodded and Asuma walked into the Hokage's office, and the third looked up, and after Asuma closed the door he said, "Who are you?" Asuma chuckled and said, "It's good to see you again, old man," dropping the henge and showing a 5-year-old Naruto. The third blinked and said, "Naruto what?" He stopped as Naruto held up his hand. Naruto said, "We need to talk, and if the council knew I was in here right now, Danzo would have his root member spy. That's why I henged into your son." The third nodded slowly and said, "What's so important that you would need secrecy, and how do you know henge?" Naruto sighed and said, "May I?" motioning to the chair. The third nodded and Naruto sat down and said, "This is a long story, so I already told your secretary to hold your meetings. That was your suggestion from before when I came back." The third said, "I never." He stopped when Naruto held up his hand again. Naruto said, "You never told that to me in this timeline. To make a long story short, and so you know this is not one of my simple pranks, let me tell you a quick story that only you know the whole truth. If I can do that, then I will also explain the rest. It's the least you could do for the son of Arashir Kazama and the vessel of Kyuubi no Kitsune," he said with a smirk. The third blinked and paled and said, "How?" Naruto said, "It's best to start from the beginning, or as ironic as it is, the end, or the valley of the end. I was dying from a Chidori from Sasuke Uchiha. I did not believe my teammate would actually do it, so I powered down my Rasengan, but with the curse seal he had from Orochimaru and his desire for revenge against Itachi, he killed me. The Shinigami came to take my soul away, but Kyuubi made a deal with the Death God. Since he would be free after 20 years, because we had not merged enough, he offered his soul freely if the Shinigami would do 2 things. One, give me all of Kyuubi's powers, and the second was give me the heavenly power of the Phoenix. With that power, when I die, as long as I save one person in my life, I can go back again to this day and start over. This is my 4th time. The first time Danzo killed me, the second time Orochimaru killed me. This last time Itachi killed me, and so here I am again. I have all my knowledge from the future, but it won't matter that much as I change events. Even if you kill me now without believing me, I will start over again in a few minutes, because on my way here I already saved the life of one person, so I am guaranteed another chance, and the next time I won't trust you." The third said, "So why do you need to see me then?" Naruto said, "My body is that of a 5-year-old. Even with Kyuubi already changing it to make it stronger, it won't matter with what's to come." The third said, "I thought you said the hand again." Naruto said, "I told you that the Kyuubi made the deal. The Shinigami said I would need guidance to use Kyuubi's power and also to explain things to me, so he is keeping me and Kyuubi together for now. Kyuubi is training me to use his chakra and also to alter my own body, so when he's not with me I can do it myself. And don't worry, I am not altering to be a demon or anything like that. It's just my healing ability heightened senses my bloodline and physical conditioning." The third looked at Naruto and said, "Bloodline." Naruto said, "Oh, that's right, you don't know. Well, you will get a kicker out of this. I did when Bakon told me. Do you know grandmother and grandfather are?" The third said, "Actually, no, I don't. Arashir never trusted me with knowing who his wife was, and as far as I know, he was an orphan." Naruto said, "He was in an orphanage, but not because of his parents died. They are both alive, and you actually know them. You watched them grow up, and Granny never told you she was pregnant because she was afraid to disappointing you. Being her sensei and all." Naruto smirked as the wheels moved in the third's head, and he paled. Naruto said she really should quit drinking and gambling. But if she did that, then her and grandfather never would have had dad. The third said, "Who was he?" Naruto said, "You have his book in your drawer under a genjutsu." The third chuckled, knowing exactly who then, and said, "That is hard to believe that those two actually had a thing." Naruto said, "From what I was told, when I found out she was 15 at the time and you had sent them on missions together after her brother died. They got drunk. She made a bet and you can guess the rest." The third said, so what do you plan to do if with this info you have? Naruto said certain events have to happen and can't be stopped. No matter how much I wish they could. The third said, and they are. Naruto said, sorry. I told you before and they blowed up in mine and your faces, so we won't do that again. I have actually told you too much, but since you will be dead when those events happen, I can feel a little safe. As for now, only I will know what is supposed to happen. I would like to tell you everything, but if you intervene in the events or move too soon, then Danzo and the council will have the leverage they need to remove you and kill me. The third sighed and said, is there anything you could do? Naruto thought for a moment and said, actually yes, but it will take time and I don't know how you can do it, but our ally Suna. Strengthen the bonds between our village. It will make things easier later. If you have to arrange a marriage. The Kazekage has 3 children, Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara. The first 2 would be good for a political marriage maybe, but not Gaara. The third said, why not Gaara? Naruto said he is a vessel also. The third paled and said, I was not aware of that. Naruto said, I had it bad, but he has it worst. The Kazekage actually brags about Gaara because he is Suna's secret weapon, so his seal is screwed up. The third said, why then do you want to have us ally with them? Naruto said, after his death things get better between us. If things are good then some things might change. The third said, I don't understand, but I will trust you for now. So what do you plan? Naruto said, I need to train my body and learn more skills. Even with what I know, I won't be ready for what is to come with my current knowledge. The third said, what is it you need then? Naruto thought and said, my chakra affinity is wind. I know Kage Bunshin Rasengan Henge replacement summoning, though I need to sign the Toad contract again. My taijutsu knowledge is good, but my body can't handle what I know yet. Kenjutsu is something I want to work on. Maybe I can get a new chakra control exercise beside tree climbing and water walking. That's my best skills. The first time I came back and died at 7. Then I died at 9, then I died at 12 again because I made Orochimaru afraid of me. The third said, well, I might be able to get you a Kenjutsu teacher and a chakra control exercise, but it will take time. Naruto nodded and said, is Anko in the village? The third paled and said, what would you want with her? Naruto said, I want her to teach me her fighting style. I know all about her and Orochimaru's past. The third said, she is, but I can't promise she will teach you. Naruto said, leave that to me. If you hear explosions from the forest of death, don't think anything about it. The third said, why is that? Naruto said, I need to get her to train me, so what's the best way to impress a sadistic bloodthirsty nympho? The third said, do I want to know? Naruto said, you make her submit. The third said, but you are only 5. How can you make her submit? Naruto said, only physically, and Kyuubi can fix that. I am closer to 25 mentally. Also, you don't train under Ero Sannin for a total of 5 years and not learn a few things. The third said, I don't want to think about it. Naruto said, good. CYA. And started toward the door. The third said, don't you need some help? Naruto said, just work on getting the Kenjutsu and the chakra control exercise for me. Work on Suna also. I will work on the rest myself for now. And changed back to Asuma before walking out. The third sighed and said, I'm getting too old for this shit. Asuma walked back in and said, oh, before I forget. Do you know Kage Bunshin? The third nodded and Naruto said, enjoy the paperwork, professor. And walked out. The third looked confused and asked why would he need to know if I knew Kage Bunshin, and told me, damn it. And he hit his head on the table. He looked up and at the Hokage monument and said, you could have told me that's how you did it, Erasure. Naruto chuckled as he left the tower and cut down an alleyway still disguised as Asuma and started to release the hinge only to be pulled into a kiss from a very good-looking Kurenai. Naruto, making the most of the situation, returned the kiss and took control of it before breaking the kiss and saying, you know, for someone who is the Genjutsu mistress of Konoha, you need to learn to detect a hinge. And he started to walk away only to be pushed against a wall with a kunia to his neck. Kurenai looked at him and said, who are you to MPH? She was stopped by having the position switched and having her lips engulfed into another passionate kiss. At first she tried to struggle, but after a few moments she gave in to the lust, dropped the kunia and closed her eyes, enjoying the moment. Suddenly the presence left her lips, and when she opened her eyes all she saw was Asuma smiling, and he said age is not the only way to learn about love. Also, you don't have to always be afraid of being hurt. Enjoy your life, Sensei Haim. And was engulfed in a swirl of flames. Kurenai blinked and looked around trying to detect the person who was here a moment ago. Not detecting him anywhere, she fixed herself and went to grab her kunai, but saw it was gone, so she left the alleyway thinking about who and what that was. Anko was sitting on the wall of the forest of death eating a dango and was making a design of a snake with the sticks when she jumped to avoid a kunai. Anko landed and looked around and said, "Who are you?" A chuckle from the fence said a snake should always beware of a predator. Anko looked up and saw a man with blonde hair and about 6 foot tall standing on the fence. Anko said, "Who are you?" The man chuckled and said, "If you can catch me and make me submit, I will tell you what you want. But I will also be hunting you." And he jumped into the forest. Anko looked around not sensing anyone else and jumped up and over the wall beginning to hunt. Naruto thought, "Q, you better start pumping your chakra into me. This is going to take a lot out of me." Kyuubi said, "What do you think I have been doing since we got back, Kit?" Naruto thought, "How come your voice is not all heavy and the demonic anymore?" Kyuubi said, "My hatred is gone, and with it so is the malice in my voice." Naruto was about to think something, but jumped away to avoid a snake jumping out of the ground. Naruto snickered and said, "You have to do better than that." Naruto felt a presence behind him and felt someone grab him and heard, "What was that?" Naruto smiled and said, "Boom," and exploded, sending Anko into the air, only for 2 more of the guys that attacked her to appear and kick her into each other like a pinball. Anko sent out a snake from her sleeve and destroyed one and turned to the other only to see her summon go up in a puff of smoke. The guy in front of her said a snake should avoid a fox. Anko looked confused, but the guy in front of her eyes turned red and then his nails drew longer and suddenly he charged and took a slash at her, which she ducked, but did not have time to react to miss the underswipe. That cut the top of her shoulder and her coat and shirt. Anko looked at her wound and saw it was just a small cut and grabbed a little blood, licking it to try and intimidate her opponent. The guy in front of her said, "Gotcha," and went up in a puff of smoke. Anko looked around and started to move, but then she heard it. Doton, Yomi Numa Earth Release. Underworld Swamp, and a swamp appeared under her and she tried to get out but was not able to because she saw the guy who attacked her was still channeling chakra into the attack and she was being drained of all of her chakra. She said, "What do you want?" Panting, Naruto said, "I want you to train me to kill Orochimaru." Anko blinked and said, "Then why did you attack me?" As she fell to her knees. Naruto, still holding the jutsu, said, "I knew you would say no. I needed to impress you enough to do it. Unfortunately, I guess my body is not strong enough yet to do it." And he released the jutsu and collapsed on the ground, dropping the hinge and turning back into his 5-year-old self. Anko blinked and said, "You gotta be shitting me." A groan made her look down and saw the little blonde hair boy. The boy looked up and said, "Hello, Anko." Anko looked at his face and saw the whiskers and said, "So what was that about?" Naruto said, "Like I said, I want to kill Orochimaru. To do that I need to know how he attacks. I know you were at one time his student, so I figured with you hating him also, I could get you to help train me." Anko looked at him and said, "How do you know that, kid?" Naruto said, "I am older than I look. I know a lot more than that. I also want you to know I can fix that," pointing to the curse seal on her neck. Anko instinctively rubbed her neck and said, "How can a little kid do what no one else can?" Naruto said, "You know what I am. You also know what is inside me. I know how to use his chakra to heal my body, and I also know that I can destroy level 1 cursed seal as long as the person does not fight it." Anko looked and thought, and Naruto said, "If you want we can go to the Hokage's office to do it if you don't trust me." Anko seemed to think it over and said, "What can you give me as proof?" Naruto said, "My life." Anko blinked and Naruto said, "You can summon snakes. The ASP can kill me if you attack my heart." Anko blinked and said, "Why do you want to kill Orochimaru so much?" Naruto said, "He plans to destroy the leaf. When he comes I plan to kill him." Anko seemed to think and said, "How do you know what he is planning to do?" Naruto said, "I know a lot more than I should. My life made it where I had to." "How old would you say I am?" Anko said, "I know you're 5 years old." Naruto snickered and said, "It's good to be underestimated. Physically, yes, though Kurenai will probably kill me later for the kiss, but mentally is another story." Anko said that's a good story and all, but why should I believe you? Naruto smiled and said, let's say me and you were friends in a previous life. Close friends that tell each other secrets about certain tattoos. Anko paled for a moment and said, that's a good one, kid. Naruto said, hey, it's not my fault you wanted to impress the guy you were in love with and had a tattoo of a viper put there. Too bad he's gay. It was really well done. Anko looked pissed and said, give me one reason I should not kill you right now. I don't even know how you know about that. Naruto said, like I said, I know more than I should. I got 2 reasons why you should not kill me though. 1, you're turned on right now, and 2, you're tired of being alone. Hiding behind that mask and never truly opening up around someone. Afraid to be hurt again. Anko looked at Naruto and said, what was that about Kurenai a moment ago? Naruto stood up and walked over to Anko and said, oh, nothing much. She thought I was someone else and kissed me and I did this. And grabbed her, hinging back into his tall blonde hinge before engulfing her lips in a passionate kiss, pressing her against the tree she was by and holding her there as he broke the kiss and jumped back, and said, see you at the Hokage office. Before disappearing in a swirl of flames. The third was reading his book while he had 2 Kage Bunshins doing his paperwork when a swirl of flames appeared in his office. At first he thought he might be getting attacked until he saw Naruto. He blinked and Naruto held up his hand and started removing a finger starting with 5. When he got to the last one, a swirl of leaves appeared and Anko stood there looking like she was about to kill. The third said, I take it you found Anko. Naruto said, yep, and I gave her an offer to remove her curse seal. Walking over to the window only to duck under a kunai that was thrown at him. Naruto turned and said it was just 1 kiss. Anko said, I am going to skin you alive. And charged him only for him to duck under her swipe and grab her from behind, bending her backwards so she was level with his true height and kiss her again on the lips. She fought back for a moment before giving in and returning the kiss for a second before she opened her eyes wide and breaking the kiss as he stood her up. The reason she opened her eyes wide was 'cause he put his tongue in her mouth. The third sweat dropped and giggled at the same time. Naruto, after standing her up, walked over to a chair and said, so do you want that seal removed or not? Anko looked at him, trying to decide to kill him or let him try and then kill him. Naruto said in an impatient, just show me the damn seal already. I have other things I got to do today besides convince you to teach me. I need to find Kakashi, steal his book to get him to teach me Misjutsu. Piss off the civilians, buy me some weapons. Everyone in the office looked at him, sweat dropping. Anko blinked, the third blinked, the 2 clones blinked. Anko said, exactly who is this little shit? The third ignored her and said, how are you planning on buying weapons when you should not have any money? Naruto snickered and said, well, I have 3 ways to do it. 1, I can go to my family estates and open the vaults. 2nd, I could have you give me some money. Or 3, I could do this. Walking over to the picture of the yondaime, bit his thumb before putting it on the picture. The picture started to morph and change, and then suddenly a safe appeared and it opened. Naruto put his hand in and pulled out a few scrolls, looking at them, tossing one to the third, and said, I got about $1 billion here to play with. Anko looked at the third and said, did I wake up in another universe or something? I need a drink. Naruto said, wait till I remove the seal and I will join you. The third sighed and said, after you remove her seal, will you leave me alone today? I feel like I need to retire or kill myself. Naruto said, you still have other things to work on, remember? The third sighed and said, I think I liked you before. Naruto sighed and said, I guess I am a little high-strung. Who wouldn't when your best friend and teammate tries to kill you? A man you try to stop from killing his family kills you. A man you respected as a grandfather being held down while his replacement kills you, and then the man who first ruined your life kills you for trying to save the friend that would later kill you. I'm tired, old man. As he walks over and sits on the windowsill looking at the Hokage mountain. Anko looked over at the third and he mouthed later. He looks at Naruto and said, try telling us about it and maybe we can help. Naruto sighs and said, I already told you about the deal Kyuubi made with the Shinigami. When I came back the first time, I tried to do it by myself. I thought if I could stop Itachi from killing the Uchiha clan, his brother would not get fucked in the head and betray the village after Orochimaru offers him power. I learned then that I was not strong enough to stop him. The next time I came back, I told you what happened and you tried to help me stop the Uchiha massacre. The council used it as leverage to have you removed, and I tried to stop them, saying it was not your fault. Danzo had his root members hold you down while he stabbed me through the heart. I came back again, and this time you had Jiraiya take me to train away from the village. We met Tsunade, and she did a blood test when I got hurt. It was that blood test that showed we were related and how it came about. I returned for team placement and was placed on the same team again so I could save Sasuke when the time came. I also befriended Anko and Kurenai when it was shown Kakashi was playing favorites. It was then Anko and I started to date. Anko talked Kurenai into having fun with us because her and Asuma were having trouble. He. I have a habit of breaking the odds. I learned Rasengan in a month. I could turn the demon of the mist Zabuza into an ally. I can save a country. I could break the curse of Kyuubi spirit. I could be with two women at the same time and make both happy, but I could not defend myself against S-class criminals. Naruto had tears in his eyes. He was still looking at the monument and said, I don't know how Dad did it. To save a village by sacrificing his son. I guess that's the difference between us, Dad. You were willing to give everything to do it. Somehow I must do the same. I wish you were here to guide me, Dad. Starting over sucks, but dying knowing you failed is even worse. The third said, Naruto, what is it you hope to do? Naruto sighed and said, my first life all I wanted was to be Hokage. To show the village I was not the demon they thought I was. For 12 years I did not know why they hated me. It took 12 years, but I finally started making friends. It was one of the first I thought of as a friend that was my downfall. I thought if I could save him, then I would not have to lose my friends again and fail them. I then tried another way to save him by taking out the source of his betrayal, Orochimaru. I don't know what to say or do anymore, old man. I figured since I remember everything I learned, I can get strong enough to stop him. Not to mention that damn group Itachi goes with 9 S-class criminals after me, so I need to be strong enough to stop them also. The third sat quiet for a moment and Anko said, why do you care for this friend of yours so much anyways? Naruto said, even though he acted like he hated me and called me an idiot and made fun of me all the time. Had the attention of everyone, he was also the first beside the old man here who actually accepted me somewhat. Anko said, so you want to save him for accepting you, but he treated you like shit. Perhaps you are an idiot. If I was able to do what you claim you could, I would learn everything I could, and then I would start over and show all the idiots that you are actually better than them, but hey, that's just me. Naruto looked at her and said, perhaps you're right. What do you think, old man? The third thought for a moment and said, is there a limit to how many times you can come back? Naruto said, as long as I save one life each time, no, unless I give up this power. Why? The third was silent for a moment and said, how strong would you need to be to take out Orochimaru and those S-class criminals? Naruto thought for a moment and said, Orochimaru when he was with them was the weakest and he killed 2 Kages in less than a month. I would need to be stronger than a Kage. Anko said, what about with your demon chakra you used when fighting me? Naruto said, it's a double-edged sword. By the time I would have to fight Orochimaru, I would only be able to use at most 3 taels worth of power. If he uses that damn 5-star seal on me, that option is useless again. The third said, I have a plan that could work, but it would take a lot of time. Fortunately, that is something you have a lot of, Naruto. I agree. There are events that must happen. The Uchiha clan is one of them, so don't even worry about that. Also, you must choose wisely who you tell. Instead of doing it like you did today, when you come to me, I want you to repeat this saying. Ready? Naruto nodded and the third said, a monkey will climb higher to avoid a snake. Even with a frog and a snail's help, he may not climb fast enough. A fox can kill the snake, but only with the strength of a snail, the agility of a frog, and the wisdom of a monkey. Naruto thought for a moment and said, I get that one. Using the summons as a reference. What is your plan, old man? The third thought for a moment and said, your plan for Suna is a good one, but that is a bonus. Getting stronger would be wise, and to be Kage level you would have to be trained in everything. It could take a long time to do this. Do you understand this, Naruto? Naruto nodded and said, so get stronger and strengthen the bonds between us and Suna. What else? The third thought for a moment and looked at Anko, said, well, as luck would have it, you also will have the dream of every man. Anko narrowed her eyes and said, what do you mean? The third chuckled and said, when you plan to make your move you will need to work on restoring your clan Kazama. Anko blinked and said Kazama as in, Naruto said yes Arashir Kazama the Yandame was my father. Anko said I thought you were losing your mind kid. Naruto sighed and said so get multiple wives. What else? The third thought for a moment and said, since you said the 5-star seal you must have had some run-in with it so you need to learn sealing Kenjutsu Ninjutsu Taijutsu Jinjutsu strategy stealth medical jutsu, as well as other aspects of your life. You must learn to be a ladies' man. Learn about each of the women you want to marry. Also you will need to leave this village and go to others to learn their village secrets. Find out who is Orochimaru's allies and also anything you can about them as well. Naruto said anywhere you think I should start first. The third thought and said what is your worst? Naruto snickered and said Jinjutsu. The third thought and said okay good place to start. Naruto said when do we begin? Anko said what have we done? Chapter 3. Naruto woke up in his bed and looked at the roof and said I really hate those tiles. As he got ready for the day heading for the Hokage Tower. On his way he shoved a guy out of the way and quickly walked into the office not even hinging. A couple of guards tried to stop him along with the secretary. Not a good idea. Naruto placed a Jinjutsu on all three making them think they were in one of Jiraiya fantasies. When Naruto walked in the third looked up and said Naruto what can I do for you today? With a smile on his face. Naruto walked over and sat down putting his feet on the desk and said I have something to say and then we can talk. A monkey will climb higher to avoid a snake. Even with a frog and a snail's help he may not climb fast enough. A fox can kill the snake but only with the strength of a snail, the agility of a frog, and the wisdom of a monkey. The third blinked and said who are you? Naruto looked at the ceiling and said Naruto Kazama. The third sat back in his seat and said so tell me Naruto what's going on? Naruto said it's time to start action. I have lived more lifetimes than I care to count. If you added all my years together, I would give the fox a good run for his money and age. I won't tell you why or how, just know that you might want to let everyone know who I really am. Kyuubi's dead though, so don't feel bad about it. The third blinked and said, can I see the seal? Naruto snickered and raised his shirt saying, what seal? The third said, how strong are you? Naruto thought for a moment and said, more than enough for what I need to do. The third said, so what do you plan to do? Naruto said, how are things between Suna and Konoha? The third said, strained why? Naruto said he has a daughter named Temari. Arrange a marriage with her and the son of a Kage. The third said, why would I do that? Naruto said, once the council finds out who I really am and my bloodline added to the fact Kyuubi's dead, they will jump at the chance to initiate the clan resurrection laws. The third thought for a moment and said, what bloodline? Naruto said, give me a moment and I will activate it and show you. And closed his eyes and the third felt Naruto's chakra go up and after a moment died down. Naruto then started forming hand seals and walked to a plant on the side of the room and said growth, and a plant suddenly grew 3 feet tall. Naruto turned and said, long story short, Dad is not the only Kage blood I have. The third blinked and said, I think that this might be a good idea. But what do you plan to do? Naruto said, I don't want you to make it public knowledge who I really am yet. The third blinked and said, why? Naruto said, I want to prove some stuff to people. I also need some others to underestimate me and those who think I'm Kyuubi to still hate me so when the time comes I can stop them. Until then I want you to keep it a secret. The third said, what exactly are you going to do? Naruto said, train my body. The third said, what exactly does Orochimaru have to do with this Naruto? Naruto said, when the time gets closer my friend you will know. I can't tell you without screwing things up too much. Oh, keep everyone but Anko away from the forest of death. As he headed toward the door. The third said, why Naruto? You got to give me something. Naruto said, I'm going to live there. As for giving you something, how would you like to spend more time with your grandson? The third said, I would love to, but Naruto looked at him and said, enjoy your life, my old friend. Use Kage Bunshins to do paperwork and have a good life. I will try to stay out of your way and not cause trouble for you until it's time. The third said, Naruto, what do you plan to do? Naruto said, I will be training. The day my age group is supposed to take the finals for the Genin test put me as a new student. I will be back then. It will look like I am gone until then. The third said, Naruto, wait. I'm sorry. Naruto smiled and said, I promise you, my friend. When the time comes, the years you protected me will be restored, and I will save everyone I can. Just get that marriage to Temari set up and don't tell them anything about me except I am the last of my clan with a bloodline. The third nodded and Naruto walked out. He quickly changed into Asuma and headed toward the ally only to be grabbed by Kurenai again. 10 minutes later he left the ally and said, till we meet again, beautiful Sensei Haim. After that he was not to be seen by anyone for almost 7 years. Time skip 7 years. The Academy Irika sighed as he read the note the Hokage sent him this morning. Apparently a new student would be here for the finals today. He refused to tell the name but said he would be unique. He looked at his class and someone knocked on the door. He went to the door and said, can I help? He stopped when he saw the figure standing there. The figure was nearly 5 feet 10 inches and 160 pounds. He had a pair of black pants on a sword on his left side. A black vest unzipped except the very bottom with no shirt underneath. Blonde hair that was trimmed to where it was only about 2 inches tall and spiky. His eyes were blue but had a small red ring and slitted pupils. He had scrolls all over his vest as well as what looked like seals on his hands. He had a shuriken and 2 kunia holsters on. His legs. You could see his chest and it was what could be described as one word. Ripped. The figure said yes. The Hokage said I was to take the test today. Irika blinked and said, yes, what is your name? The figure smiled and said Naruto. Irika wrote that down and said Naruto. Naruto said Uzumaki. Irika sweat dropped and then paled, dropping his pen before he said right. Anyways, find a seat. Naruto nodded and walked to the back of the class, ignoring the looks he was getting. He sat down and Irika said, okay class. To become ninja you must pass this test to show you are ready. When I call your name please come to the other room to test. And so they started to take the test and then it finally came to Naruto's turn. Naruto walked into the room and the Mizuki said, don't I know you from somewhere, kid? Naruto looked at Mizuki, who was away from Irika, and channeled chakra into his eyes and changed color to red and then disappear, returning to normal, and said, I've been around. With a smile. Mizuki pointed his finger and Naruto said, so what's the test? Irika saw Mizuki pointing but did not know why and said, do at least 2 bunshin. Naruto said, can it be any kind? Irika said, sure. Naruto just nodded and 5 Kage Bunshin and Irika blinked and said, you did not use hand seals. Naruto said nope and grabbed a headband before leaving to join the others. After he was gone, Irika said, what's wrong with you, Mizuki? Mizuki said, it's the Kyuubi brat. Irika said, I know it's him, but why are you freaking out? Mizuki said, I know what I saw. It's him. The Kyuubi. Irika sighed and said, I think you are crazy or something. I mean, it's been 12 years and nobody has died and I am giving him the benefit of the doubt. Besides, the Hokage knows he's here. Why else would he tell us he was arriving? Mizuki said he was waiting to kill us. Now he's back and I am sure he is ready to do it. Irika sighed and said, we can't do anything about it now. Let's go finish our job. Mizuki sighed and then followed Irika to class. When they got there, Irika said, well done. All of you who pass come tomorrow to be assigned your team. And started to leave. Naruto waited until everyone left, then he left as a swirl of flames. In the Hokage office, the third was sitting looking at the people he chose to be senseis for this year's Genin. Asuma, Kurenai, Kakashi. The third sighed and started to say something when a swirl of flames appeared in his office and everyone jumped back, never seeing someone arrive like that, and the figure standing there said, thanks old man for keeping the place going. I am back. The third chuckled and said, welcome back. It's been too long, Naruto. Naruto looked at the ones there and said, you ready for the real fun to begin, old man? We have less than 6 months before the village will be attacked. Everyone in the room tensed and the third sighed and said, so you ready to talk? Naruto sighed and said, it's good to see you all again, Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai. Everyone looked confused and Naruto went to the window and said, can you get Ibiki and Anko? When they get here I will tell everything. The third nodded and ordered the 2 to come. While they were waiting, Kakashi said, "How do you know who we are?" Naruto said, "Sharingan Hatake Kakashi Jonin, student of Arashir Kazama. Said to have copied over 1,000 jutsu. Only original jutsu, the Chidori hurts like a bitch summons dogs. Asuma Sarutobi. Son of the third Hokage. Wind manipulator and one of the Fire Lord temple guards. Specialty trench knives and hand-to-hand combat. Yuhi Kurenai, Ice Queen of Konoha and a great kisser Genjutsu mistress. Favorite attack is the Tree Bind of Death. Age 20. Favorite color is blue and favorite flowers are jasmines. Has a birthmark on her right butt cheek. Previous relationship are with Asuma and Anton. Both ended, but you still date Asuma every now and then when you get lonely, but hate his smoking. Kurenai was bright red and Kakashi and Asuma both were giggling. Just then both Ibiki and Anko arrived and Naruto turned to them and said, "Ibiki, head of interrogation and torture division of Abnu specialty mental torture. Brother Idate who went missing when he was tricked into stealing the Raijin by AOA. Current location: T Country. Anko, apprentice of Orochimaru, summon snakes, has a cursed seal of earth on her neck. Makes everyone think she has a blood fetish, but it's a self-defense to intimidate people. Also a great kisser. Has a tattoo that no one besides her and the person who put it on has seen. It is actually a really well done one. And he dodges a kunia." The third chuckled and Anko said, "Okay kid, I don't know who you are and how you know this stuff about us, but you are going to tell us now or I will kill you myself." Naruto chuckled and said, "I'm sure all of you have basically the same thought in your mind. Don't worry, I will tell you now. Old man, this is for only those in this room, got it?" The third nodded and said, "As some of you might be able to guess by the marks on my face, I am Naruto Uzumaki, but actually that's not right, is it, old man?" The third sighed and said, "No." Naruto said, "Kakashi, you more than anyone in this village should have been able to tell who I really was." Kakashi said, "Why is that, Naruto?" Naruto said, "I'm hurt. You would think my own godfather would know me." Kakashi blinked and looked at Naruto for a moment, and then his eye got as big as a silver dollar, and he looked at the third and said, "You told me he was dead." This got everyone's attention. Asuma said, "What are you talking about?" Naruto said, "Look at the picture behind you, Asuma." Everyone turned and looked at the picture and then back at Naruto. Ibiki chuckled and then laughed hard and said, "Are you saying that?" Naruto said, "Kazama, Naruto Kazama." As everyone got it, they gasped in disbelief. Naruto said, "Okay, now that the minor stuff is out of the way, we have a war to prepare for. Old man, did you get Suna like I asked?" The third nodded and said, "Yes. It costed us some, but I got her for you. I still don't know why though." Naruto said, "As you all know, the Chunin exams will be held in Konoha this year. During the exams, as long as I have not changed things too much, but with not stopping the Uchiha massacre and my disappearance 7 years ago, everything is pretty much the same. During the exams, Orochimaru himself will infiltrate the village and attack Team 7 under Kakashi and give Uchiha Sasuke a cursed seal of heaven. When the finals of the exam arrive, the Sound Village, which Orochimaru is the Otokage of, will attack. Originally it was with the help of Suna. If I did not stop the Kazekage's son Gaara, we would have lost that battle." Ibiki said, "How do you know all of this, and how come you talk in the past tense?" Naruto said, "Originally, at the end of the battle, the third was dead. Jiraiya, who trained me after Kakashi abandoned me to a less than adequate teacher, took me as his apprentice, and we went and found my grandmother Tsunade to come back to be the Godame Hokage." Everyone paled and Naruto walked to a plant and said, "I see you replaced the last one." And went through some seals and said, "Growth." And the plant jumped 3 feet in height. Naruto turned around and said, "Anyways." With Sasuke already being borderline insane because of his brother, compounded by the fact of the cursed seal and Itachi coming to the village to kidnap me for the Kyuubi, he betrayed the village and left with Orochimaru personal bodyguards. "Kakashi, I don't care if it kills me and I have to start over again. You teach that little asshole Chidori again, I will shove a futon raisin shuriken up your ass." Asuma said, "What is that attack?" Naruto said, "The final form of a Rasengan." Kakashi fell to the ground and said, "Impossible." Naruto said, "Not for me. It's a Rasengan with wind manipulation added to it. Anyways, long story short, Sasuke killed me with Chidori." Shinigami came to take me, but because Kyuubi had not been in my body long enough, he would have been back in 20 years. Kakashi said, but the seal. Naruto stopped him and said was designed to give me all of Kyuubi's power over my lifetime. If the villagers would have killed me the day of the sealing, Kyuubi would have been back in less than a year. You're lucky the old man here was so adamant about keeping me alive. Anyways, when the Shinigami came to take me, Kyuubi made a deal. A side effect of the seal was he felt everything I felt, so all the sadness and loneliness changed him. Kyuubi's deal was to give his powers to me, and Naruto stopped and hinged into a avenue, and the doors to the Hokage office opened and Mizuki came barging in. He said, Hokage, what's the idea of having that demon come into the academy and graduating? I'm sure he is. He never got to finish as Kakashi hit him in the neck and Ibiki had him taken away. When the door closed and everyone settled down, Naruto changed back and said, sorry, could not let that traitor see me here right now. By the way, Ibiki, you might have Abnu keep an eye on him. I know originally he had me do it, but since I passed he may use someone else, but he's after the Forbidden Scroll. Orochimaru promised him power. You know, when his teammates suddenly died under mysterious circumstances. He was trying to impress the Heba team at the time. How well was I? Now I remember Kyuubi gave me his powers, and the Shinigami gave me the power of the Phoenix of Legends. Every time I die I am reborn to a day when I was 5 years old and remember everything that happens. I have had a lot of lives learning. Here in this village and others. The third said, if what you said is true, Naruto, then we have to. He stopped because of a massive amount of ki. Naruto said, that is why I did not tell you earlier, old man. If we start preparing, then Orochimaru's spies will find out and tell him. He has several in this village. Even with all my lives, I still have not gotten to know all of them. The only course of actions is to set up for certain aspects. He has spies on the council hospital, this administrative building, the academy, Umbu. Hell, I know Root has alliances with them, but it's next to impossible to prove. Danzo is someone I would love to kill. Anyways, I am sure you all have questions, so I will try to answer. Anko said, how do you know so much personal stuff about me? Naruto said, after the first few times of screwing up trying to stop the Uchiha massacre and Orochimaru without much skills, the third of a timeline asked me what I wanted to accomplish as a goal. I told my goal at the time in the U of the time because I wanted you to train me in the serpent style, told me I should work toward a life that would make me happy. After I found out who my family is, and was the third said after I stopped Orochimaru and some others that I would have to revive my clan with multiple wives. He said a side mission should be getting to know the real women who I might someday like to have in my life. One of my lives, I helped you and Kurheim emotionally, and we dated some. Asuma said, sound like more than dated. Naruto said, relax. I may know details of both the lovely ladies here, but I have never been past kissing. I refuse to go past that point until I actually get married. The reason I know about those embarrassing details is you should not drink with someone who can't get drunk. Kurenai said, so you know about my birthmark because I got drunk and told you about it. Naruto said, actually no, you got drunk after Asuma was killed and you went into labor and I had to deliver it. That's how I know about your birthmark. Anko said, what about me? Naruto shivered and said, I know things about you that would make Orochimaru blush if he could and was not gay. The answer to is you wanted to kill me for stealing your dango, and I learned a new variation of the hidden snake dance. Anko said, really? Naruto said, all I will tell you is that it involved 10 snakes, a pair of white panties, and dying with a smile on my face. Anko said, I don't own white panties. Naruto said, whoever said it was your panties? You tied me upside down with your snakes in the female Abnu dressing room, but ass naked, and made me watch you and another woman change for 9 hours. I had so many nosebleeds in that room that my regenerative abilities finally gave out and died from blood loss. Kakashi said, amateur. Naruto did a sign and said harem jutsu. And 20 naked blonde women appeared, sending Asuma the third, Ibiki, and Kakashi flying backwards. Naruto then said, at least I did it from a real woman. I also don't need my grandfather's books to dream about a woman either. Naruto looked at the two women and suddenly realized that was not the best move. The only thing keeping them from killing him was the other men. Anko smiled evilly and Kurenai said, so. You think that you could make us some of your wives, huh? Naruto changed into Asuma and said, sure, Sensei Haim. And changed back. Kurenai stopped in her tracks and stared blankly and said that was you. Naruto said you should check for a hinge before grabbing guys in alleyways. Anko looked at the two and said what's he talking about Kurenai? Naruto flamed Shushin across the room. Anko blinked and said no. Fucking way. Kurenai blinked and said what? Anko said you remember me talking about the guy in the Forest of Death. Naruto said I wish they would change the name of that place. I have lived there for 7 years and I am still alive. Kurenai blinked and said you meant to tell me the guy who tricked you into a game of cat and mouse and then had you at his mercy and only kissed you before leaving was him. Naruto smiled and said I learned to make the women I care and respect happy. A groan from Ibiki alerted them to all the guys waking up. After everyone was awake, the third said, Naruto, I am classifying that as an S-rank jutsu. Naruto said A rank. Sexy jutsu is a B rank. Harem jutsu is an A rank. Orgy is an S-rank jutsu. Anko said what's the difference? Naruto said sexy jutsu is just myself changing. The funny thing about it is thanks to QB I really do become female. Oh well. Harem jutsu is with clones. Orgy is a version where you have the females and also males going at it. The only people who I have ever encountered immune to it are Sasuke and Orochimaru, but since they're gay it does not matter. Kurenai said those jutsu are degrading to women. Naruto said I have you know that they are no different from the advanced female ninja classes the unmarried older ninja have to take. As a matter of fact, I had those classes and have broke up several prostitution rings with them, thank you. Kurenai blinked and gaped, trying to have a comeback. Ibiki said, can you tell us anything we can prepare for? Naruto thought and said a genin named Kabuto. He has failed the last 6 exams, but he actually stronger than Kakashi. He is Orochimaru right-hand man. Secretly track his movements without alerting him. His detection skills are better than mine and mine are better than an Inuzuka. He also has an advanced healing ability equal to my demon one. Speaking of demons, just so all of you know, I do have his powers, but he has gone along with the seal. The last time I checked, old man, I can hold up to 4 tails of demon chakra for 20 minutes before my body starts to destroy itself. Any longer and I suffer from chakra exhaustion and severe damage to my body. If I go any more tails worth, then that I suffer the same fate, and also I only have instincts then. I've sealed the rest away for now. It will probably take me 8 years to get to the last tail of chakra though. Kakashi said, how strong are you, Naruto? Naruto said, with or without all the restriction I have on. Asuma said, explain. Naruto said, I have gravity seals, chakra seals, physical weights, chakra weights. The sword on my side has about 1 tail's worth of chakra sealed in it that I can draw in battle if I need to. Everyone paled, and the third said, how strong are you with the restriction? Naruto said I could take on Jiraiya and win. Everyone paled even more, and Kakashi said without. Naruto said with a straight face and no emotions, the entire Leaf Village and win without using Hiraishin no Jutsu. The third finally regained his color after a few moments and said, how many jutsu do you know, Naruto? Naruto closed his eyes and said 2,000 Keton, 1,300 Raiton, 900 Doton, 5,000 Suiton, 1,200 Futon, 600 Medical, and 400 Kenjutsu. Not including the 40 styles of Taijutsu and the 25 Kenjutsu styles I know. I can open all 9 of the gates also. If this chance fails when I go on the mission to Snow Country, I might go to the hidden village there and learn some snow and ice jutsu. I have mastered my wind affinity as well as my Suiton and Doton affinity. Until I had activated my bloodline, I was limited to wind only. I know and can use Keton and Raiton jutsu, but they eat my chakra bad. Kakashi said 9, but there are only 8 gates. Naruto said, in normal people, yes. I was once a demon vessel, so all the demon chakra I have in my body comes through the 9th gate. If I use it, I have unlimited chakra. However, I would destroy my body in a few minutes as I can't shut it off fast enough to save my life. Kurenai said, how's your genjutsu skills? Naruto said, I can use 10 genjutsu. No matter how much I try, that is my true weakness. I can detect them as long as they are not super weak ones. I can't cancel them by stopping my chakra. I can stop them with pain or using powering up chakra. Only problem is, if I pulse my chakra, I will cancel all genjutsu in a 1-mile radius, both ally and enemy. At least I can fight Itachi's Sharingan now. Kakashi said, what do you mean? Naruto said, you know how he has the last level and how you have to kill your best friend to get it. When Kyuubi was teaching me to use his chakra, he taught me to manipulate my body with his chakra. Having been hit with that damn genjutsu of the Sharingans enough times, I can fight him in it, so instead of him controlling everything that happens in it, we fight for dominance. Sadly, of the last 20 times we fought in it, I only beat him 5 times. Maybe this will be 6. The third was rubbing his temple and said, okay, so what are you planning on doing? It obvious you are Sannin and probably Kage level. Naruto said, what I am going to do is advance in the ranks normal. Get some friends. Try to save everyone I care about. Kill Orochimaru. Stop 9 S-class criminals, save 5 countries, and settle down and have a family. Everyone looked at him like he was crazy. Naruto said, what? I will save Wave Country, Snow Country, Tea Country, Ricefield Country, and Waterfall. As for the 9 S-class criminals, they will come after me just like they will come after Gaara. They want to rule the world by using the tailed demons. Their plan has failed now since I don't have Kyuubi, but they can still cause a hell of a lot of damage with just 8 of them. If it was not for Orochimaru's immortality jutsu, he would be a pussy. Ibiki said, immortality jutsu. Naruto sighed and said that's why he is coming here, besides destroying the Leaf Village and killing the third. He wants Sasuke because he has created a bastardized version of the heavenly power I was granted, except instead of going back in time, he goes into another body that he controls. With the help of the curse seal and drugs he puts in the bodies, he could give me a run for the money for a while. If he gets Sasuke before Sasuke gets strong enough to fight it, he will be near impossible to stop. Kakashi said, then why don't we just train Sasuke to be stronger? Naruto said, it's not physical energy I'm talking about. Sasuke, with the help of the Sharingan and some of my lives, was able to take over Orochimaru's soul, but only when Orochimaru waited till Sasuke was over 16 years old. If he takes it over before then, he succeeds. I don't know all the details, so I can't help you. The only options are stop Orochimaru during the exams. B. Kill Sasuke. C. Kill Orochimaru before he changes and destroy his entire body, or some of his followers know how to implant his soul into their bodies even after he is dead. D. Kill them both. There is no middle ground. Sasuke will betray this village for power. He won't be happy with getting stronger either. He wants power handed to him on a silver platter and will go to anyone who offers it to him. He has betrayed us to Iwa Cloud Rain Sound. Hell, he even betrayed us for the S-class criminals his brother is a member of if they agreed to train him to kill Itachi. He will never stay in Konoha. He is treated as a god here and wants more. You know the old saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. They were talking about Sasuke. Naruto sighed and giggled after a moment. Kurenai said, what's so funny? Naruto said, I just remembered. Danzo revolted in one of my lives and held Tsunade, who was the Kage, as a prisoner. By holding her assistant Shizune hostage, he forced her to have me banished from Konoha for breaking Sasuke pinky when we brought him back to Konoha once. 5 of our ninja died, 27 wounded, and because I broke his pinky when I threw him on the ground on the council chamber's floor, they had me banished. Ironic. I wonder how much those assholes are going to ruin this life. Enko said, sounds like you got everything planned out. What's with the Suna thing? Naruto sighed and said, like I told you originally, Suna joined Sound in attacking us. Suna did not know about me and Jiraiya teaching me to summon Gamabunta and the power of Kyuubi. If they had, they would have had Gaara kill me quickly. Ibiki said, you mentioned him a lot. Exactly who is he? Naruto said, a living weapon, or at least that's what his father wanted when he did it. The third said, what are you talking about, Naruto? Naruto said, you all know how I was used for honorable reasons to save the village, right? Gaara was not as lucky. One of the council somehow got an urn that had the soul of a crazy monk and the one-tailed sand demon Shikaku sealed in it. The Kazekage had the demon and monk sealed into Gaara while he was still in his mother's womb. When she gave birth to Gaara, it killed her. Unlike me, who was somewhat hidden from the kids here. The Kazekage had made it common knowledge what Gaara was. The Sand's personal weapon. Sadly, living nearly 12 years with maybe a day of sleep in your life does not make you a good person. His mission was to kill Sasuke and then destroy the leaf when they attacked. Sasuke wounded him with the Chidori, but all it really did was piss him off. I was able to beat him outside of the village, but Sasuke was given credit. Who wants to see the plague of the village as a hero? The third thought for a moment and said, then why did you want the arranged marriage to strengthen ties between us? Naruto said Orochimaru will kill the Kazekage one way or another and impersonate him here during the finals. It's too much of a convenience to be by you during the attack. After everything calms down and Gaara losing to me, he becomes the new Kazekage of the sand. I am one of the only people he would ever trust after that. Temari is his older sister, and she is one of 3 people he cares truly about. Kankuro, his brother, and me are the others. I plan to fix Gaara's seal when I see him to get rid of Shikaku influence on him. That will make him more friendly with me, and with Temari being engaged to me, he will respect the leaf since I am from the leaf. Temari is also a nice woman, and the only people who would date her are either trying to suck up to Gaara or just want to use her. I actually care for her and want to see her happy. The only other guy to ever be halfway decent to her in all of my lives was Shikamaru, but they have a love-hate relationship, and after she got pregnant he left her. I would not do that to her, so that's why I was willing to do this. I would have tried it even without the politics. Everyone seemed to accept his answer, and the third said, so what do you want to do? Naruto said team placements are the same always as they would have been. Kakashi has Sasuke, Sakura, and me. Kurenai has Kiba, Shino, and Hinata. Oh, and Kurheim. Hinata is a fragile egg. You will try to baby her, but actually letting Anko train her a little will bring her out of her shell. Just a thought. The last team will be the next Inoshikacho group under Asuma. If you can work with your teams on speed and endurance to prepare them for the war. That and chakra would be all the training I suggest to help them be stronger. The rest is up to you. As for our mission, I only really know about Team 7's mission under Kakashi. Give us whatever you feel like, old man, until a C-rank mission to Wave comes in. When it does, I request that mission. I might be able to get us 2 strong ninjas to help. The third said, and who would these 2 be? Naruto smiled and said the demon of the mist Zabuza and his assistant Haku, who also has a bloodline. The third said, I agree to the mission, but I won't agree to the missing Nin until I speak to them. I will give them free leave though. Naruto said, that's all I ask. Before I forget, don't call me Kazama in public. I don't want the wrong people to know until it's time. Right now word should be spreading around town the demon is back. It really won't affect me much. One of the genjutsu I know allows me to do my shopping and stuff. Also, I will not show my true skills Kakashi. I will use simple henge replacement Kage Bunshin since I can't do regular Bunshin's tree climbing and water walking. Well, it's getting late and I have a novel to finish reading, so I need to head home. Kakashi said, Naruto, wait. Where do you live? Naruto smiled and said, oh, the Forest of Death. I built me a home there. The only ones who actually go there without being ordered are Anko and the old man. CYA. And disappeared in a swirl of flames. Kakashi said he's joking, right, and what is with that Shushin? The third said actually no, when he came to me at the age of 5 and told me about coming back, he asked me to keep everyone but Anko out of there. He really does live there. As for the Shushin, I don't know. Anko said I just got a new hobby. Kurenai said, what's that? Anko said he has lived there for 7 years and I only encountered him one time in all those years. I am going to find him and his home. The third said I can help a little. I know it's not in the South Quadrant. I checked it myself looking for him after the Uchiha massacre. Anko said I also know he's not in the East Quadrant also. That means I have 10 square miles to look for him in. Kurenai said, when you find it, let me know. I want to see it. With an evil look in her eye. Asuma leaned over and said, I have not seen that look for 7 years now since she came and asked me about calling her Sensei Haim. Ibiki said, well, I got some abnu to order around. I got the feeling I am going to have some people to have fun, torture soon. As he left, Kakashi looked at the third and said, is he really related to the Senins? The third said, truthfully, I don't know, but with that bloodline, I say it's a good chance he's related to one of them. Kakashi nodded and said, I am going to have fun with this team. Before leaving in a swirl of leaves, Asuma said, you know, when Tsunade finds out about him, if she is related to her, you're dead right. The third said, at least thanks to Naruto, the last 7 years have been good. Asuma looked confused and said, "What do you mean?" The third chuckled and said he told me how to do all my paperwork in a fraction of the time. Asuma said, "Really, how?" The third said, "Kage Bunshin." Asuma face faulted and after picking himself up said, "That's so simple, I wonder how you never thought of that before." The third said, "Rub it and why don't you?" Asuma laughed and left. The third sighed and said, "So what do you both want?" Kurenai said, "Answers." The third sighed and said, "I'm getting too old for this shit." "Very well. I will answer what I can." Both women nodded and so into the night the interrogation went. In the forest of death a certain blonde sneezed every few moments. Chapter 4. The next day at the academy everyone was sitting in class waiting on Irika to come in. Each person was doing their own thing. Some were interested in others. Most of the fangirls in class were busy looking at two people. Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke because he is the last Uchiha and Naruto because he is a mystery and had the whole badass swordsman look about himself. It helped the fact that he was a badass swordsman, but no one actually knew that. Today his look is different than before. Today he had a black pants and his sword and a black vest unbuttoned with and no shirt underneath but a blue sash around his waist to cover where the seal was supposed to be. He had a black wrist guard on each hand and the seals were still on each hand. Think Vaughn from Final Fantasy XII. Sasuke was looking at Naruto from the corner of his eye every time his fangirls looked away for a second. I would go into his thoughts, but since they are a broken record, I will only play them once. I must get stronger to kill him. I am an Avenger. No one is better than an Uchiha. I bet he is weak, cute ass. Okay, I need to stop there. Sasuke mental thoughts on Naruto are disturbing after that. Naruto was sitting in the back of the class and was eyeing each of the rookie 9. They did not know it though. Why, you ask? He had on a pair of black pilot-style sunglasses. If you looked at his eyes, all you could see was your reflection, which made his new fan club think he was looking at him. Naruto was mentally evaluating each of his friend. Shikamaru genius, lazy family style jutsu weak taijutsu choji powerhouse food expert family jutsu weak genjutsu ino fangirl family jutsu weak nin and taijutsu. Nice body lousy kisser. Bisexual Shino genius family jutsu weak taijutsu Hinata bloodline low self-esteem family jutsu weak ninjutsu. Controlling possessive disorder. Want to control all life. Kinky Kiba heightened sense family jutsu weak genjutsu Sakura fangirl weak nin and taijutsu multiple personality great medical if trained sucks in relationship. Killed myself after I kissed her and saw her naked. Could not even touch her. What the hell did I ever see in her anyways? Sasuke traitor must die. Psycho weak in sealless jutsu and other bloodlines. Weak genjutsu Sharingan cancels them, so if he has them on useless. Naruto sighed and thought may have dated those 3 but never slept with them, thank God. Ino wants a guy who is also bisexual and is willing to show whole body to get a guy. Hinata wants to chain you up and control everything. She actually tried to tell me when to go to the bathroom. Sakura, it is actually a good thing she has a big forehead. If anyone would have thought to look, they would have seen the genjutsu on her body. Her breast never developed and puberty hit her hard elsewhere. To have a monthly twice a month. No wonder she is always in a bad mood. Mentally, if I dated any of them again, I would kill myself. Anko was right about me getting to know the women I would like to maybe spend my life with. Naruto was brought out of his thoughts by Ino, who had walked over and said, "Hi, I'm Ino." Naruto thought of something and said, "Ino, even though I just met you, I bet you I can tell you almost everything about you. If I can, would you do me one request?" Ino was blushing and said, "Anything." Naruto said, "You work in a flower shop, love lilacs like Sasuke, but you also like girls, want to find a guy who would also like girls and guys and hopes to embarrass your parents by changing you family business into a Ika store and has the entire collection in you closet under the floorboards. Am I right on most of it?" Everyone in the class was looking at them and Ino was red with embarrassment. Naruto decided to cut her some slack and said, "If I am right on at least one thing, then I also know things about others like that. If so, I have a list for you that you should use to find a true soulmate. My request is that you go down this list and date all 5 names at least once and make it a real date. You can't say no to dating them based on age, weight, or looks, and you cannot say the name Sasuke once on them or compare the date to Sasuke. Deal." I promise you that one of these is your soulmate, holding out a list folded over. Ino looked at it and then at Naruto and then the list and then at Sasuke and said, "Deal." Grabbing the list. Naruto grabbed her arm and said, "Remember, you have to give each person a real chance. I will know if you don't, and since I can guarantee I will be on a team with Sasuke, I will tell him on you if you break your word. If you really like him, then you don't want him thinking you're a liar." And released her, making her walk over and sit down. Shikamaru said that was troublesome. You set her in a perfect trap and never met her before. I bet you even set her up with the biggest losers there are. It's so troublesome. Ino walked over and said in a stuttering voice, "Shikamaru, I was wondering, would you go with me tonight on a date?" Shikamaru's eyes got as big as a silver dollar and then returned to being lazy, and he looked at Naruto and said, "I would hate you, but it is too troublesome to actually think of getting revenge." "Yes, Ino, I will pick you up at 6. Sakura had her mouth hanging open and said, "Take that, Inapig, love conquers all." A vein appeared on Naruto's head and said, "Quit trying to make yourself look good, Sakura. Inner Sakura will hound you if you about not having a date later." Ino looked at Naruto, wondering what he meant. Sakura was pale and sat down, leaving everyone to wonder what he was talking about. Naruto sighed and said, "Hey Kiba, do me a favor." Kiba looked at him and said, "Why should I do you a favor, and how do you know our names and so much about Ino?" Naruto said, "Simple, actually I heard all of your names yesterday during the testing. I know so much about Ino because I heard her family business in town. As for anything else I know about her that may or may not be true, is I can read people like a book. As for why you should do me a favor, I will owe you one later. After all, only thing I was going to ask you to do was deliver a scroll to your team sensei. I was told to give it to her on my way here, but I was too busy." Shikamaru said, "How do you know what teams we are going to be on and who our senseis are?" Naruto said, "Information gathering is important for a ninja, but truthfully I saw the list earlier when I was at the Hokage's office finalizing my ninja status and getting my picture taken for the records." Shikamaru said, "Troublesome. I thought I was the only one who saw that list." Kiba said, "Fine, I will deliver this scroll for you. Who was it from anyways?" Naruto said, "All I remember about the guy was his last name started with a K. He said it was an apology for something and he did not know if he would get a chance to tell her face to face and did not want to have hard feelings if he did not see her again." Kiba said, "All right. I want to call in that favor now anyways." Naruto said, "All right." Kiba said, "Since we know nothing about you, tell us about yourself." Naruto said, "Fair enough. My name is Naruto. I am the same age as all of you. I am a seal master and have lived and trained on the outside of Konoha since I was 5 years old. I am engaged to one woman, though I have not met her yet, and I am one of the last of my clan." Shikamaru said, "I never heard of a clan called Uzumaki before." Naruto said, "That is not my real name. It was changed to protect me until I was strong enough to claim my real name. I will not tell you what it is, no, but I will tell you it is one of the founding clans of Konoha. Well, Irika's here, so let's meet our teams." Favors filled Kiba, "Thanks," and leaned back, propping his feet up on the desk, and waited. Irika walked in and said, "Okay, I want to congratulate all of you." Naruto raised his hand and Irika said, "Yes, what is it, Naruto?" Naruto said, "Where is Mizuki-sensei? I was sure he would be here today." Irika said, "Mizuki is no longer with us. He was caught breaking into the Hokage's office last night. Apparently he was going to defect from the village." Naruto smirked to himself at that. Irika sighed and said, "As I was saying, the life of a ninja is not an easy one. You will face many trials, and some of you may not be ready for what is to come. Anyways, good luck." The teams are as follow: Team 7 Sasuke, Sakura, and Sakura jumped up to say something but was stopped. Naruto said, "Sakura, stop insulting others. We need to work on our teamwork." Sakura shot him a glare and said, "I bet we are not even on the same team." Naruto said, "Team 7 Sasuke, Sakura, and me under Sharingan Kakashi. Team 8 is Kiba, Shino, and Hinata. Under Genjutsu Mistress Kurenai. Team 10 is Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji under Knight of the Fire Lord Asuma. Am I right, Irika-sensei?" Irika looked at the list and said, "Yes, but how?" Naruto said, "Like I told everyone earlier, I saw the list when I was getting my ninja status finalized and had my picture taken." Irika said, "Yes, well, I may not like the fact that Naruto and Sakura interrupted me, but Naruto did finish my duties for me, and also Sakura, I would have to say he also had a good point. You do need teamwork, so don't insult others who might be on your team. Well, one last time, I would like to say good luck. Your senseis will be here shortly. Irika turned to leave, but Naruto yelled, Irika, I have something for you. And tossed a scroll which Irika caught, and he said, what is it? Naruto said, I noticed when I was walking through the village last night that you had a bunch of paperwork needing to be filled out. That's a jutsu that helps with paperwork. It has other things it can do, but read the whole description and you will understand. Irika nodded and opened it and read it with a big smile on his face and said, that will save me a lot of time on paperwork. Thanks, Naruto. Where did you learn it? Naruto said, I got it from one of my father's scrolls he left me, and though it takes a lot of chakra, it will at least cut your paperwork time in half. Leaf Ninja have to look out for one another. Right. If we did not, then we would be no better than monsters and demons. After all, being kind is part of being human. Irika paled for a second, then smiled and said, I was right, Naruto, you are a good person. Thanks. And walked out the room. Sasuke said, what was that jutsu you gave him? Dope. Naruto said, I am not a dope, I am equal in status as you and anyone else in this room. We are all Leaf Ninja now. All equal in ranks as Genin. It does not matter what clan we are or who we are related to or what our last name is. In both battle and everyday life we need to look out for each other. We are family in that sense. As for what jutsu that is, it's Kage Bunshin. Shikamaru said, you do know that's a Jounin technique, right? Naruto said, yes, I know, but it's only that because of the chakra you need to use it. If you used it unwisely it could kill you. However, just making one or two and not using it in battle should be safe for a Chunin, and each time he uses it will make it easier the next time. Sasuke said, I don't need help. I am stronger than all of you anyways. Naruto said, then if me and anyone in this room got together you could defeat us. Sasuke said, easily. Naruto said, who do you think is the weakest person here, Sasuke? Sasuke said, probably you. Naruto said, pick someone to team up with me, and I bet we could be you in less than a minute. Sasuke smirked and said, Choji. Naruto smirked and said, who has a watch? Kiba said, I do. Naruto said, you time us and tell us to begin. Choji, come here. Choji got up and came to Naruto, and Naruto said, relax, we can beat him easily with teamwork. I want you to take a kunia and charge him. Don't worry about hitting him or anything. I will do the rest. Teamwork is the key to victory. Choji just nodded and looked at Kiba and said, ready. Naruto also just shook his head, and Sasuke got into a fighting stance and said, bring it. Kiba said, begin. And Choji pulled out a kunai and charged Sasuke. Sasuke smirked and started to form hand seals only for something to grab his leg. He tried to move but could not and had to pull out a kunai to block Choji's strike. He was still not able to move his legs or see what was holding him while defending himself. Suddenly he felt a kunai on his neck. Naruto said, time. Kiba looked at the watch and said, 29 seconds. Naruto said, good job, Choji. Teamwork can almost always stop a single enemy. And started to walk toward his seat. Sasuke looked down and did not see anything holding him and said, how did you hold me in place? Naruto said, I had a Kage Bunshin hold you, and since you could not stop defending against Choji to look and destroy the Kage Bunshin, I simply walked around you and applied the finish to end the match. Sakura said, you used ninjutsu to beat him. That's cheating. Naruto said, we are Ninja Sakura, we use everything we can to win. As for using ninjutsu, what do you think the hand seals he was doing would have been? An enemy will not always allow you to form hand seals, so you have to know other things to win. If you notice, I never used a hand sign. It's not because it's a sealless jutsu. It's because I have mastered it to a point where I don't need the seals. Look underneath Sakura. If that would have been an actual battle, Sasuke would be dead, and we would have cut his eyes out and sold them to another village. Everyone was stunned, and Sakura said, you would do that. Naruto said, if I was an enemy, then yes. You can ask Hinata up there about it. The Cloud Village already tried to do that when she was 4 years old. An enemy does not care who you are or where you were in the class, whether you are the Rookie of the Year or the dead last. All they care about is killing you and completing their mission to get paid. All any of our lives is worth is how much someone is willing to pay to kill us. Remember that. And he sat down. Clapping could be heard, and everyone turned and saw a woman with red eyes and a man smoking a cigarette, and the man said he's right about everything he said. My name is Asuma, and this is Kurenai. Team 8 and 10 come on. And he started to leave. Both teams got up to leave, and Naruto said, Kiba, don't forget the favor. Kiba said, I want, but we are going to have to spar sometime. Naruto said, sure. Good luck. As they walked out. Finally, it was only Team 7. Naruto sighed and created 10 Kage Bunshin and had them start running up and down the walls. Sakura and Sasuke saw this and were in awe. Sakura said, why and how are you doing that, Naruto? Naruto said, anything a Kage Bunshin learns, so does the original when dispelled. Kakashi is always late, so I decided to do some chakra control exercise. This one is based on tree climbing. Sasuke said, everyone knows how to climb trees, dope. Sakura said, I already have perfect chakra control. Naruto threw 2 kuniyas into the wall and walked up the wall and walked around the 2 kuniyas and started standing on them with his index finger while he was doing push-ups with his legs in an Indian style upside down. The 2 sweat dropped as he did this with his eyes closed. Sasuke began brooding, and Sakura tried to get him to give her a date. He ignored her, and she would shoot glances at Naruto, who was still doing his exercise. Meanwhile, Kiba was following his team and Team 10 out of the building when he said, Kurenai-sensei, I was asked to give this to you. Holding up the scroll. Everyone stopped, and Kurenai got it and said, what is this, Kiba? Kiba said, I really don't know myself. Naruto said he was asked to give that to you from someone who had the last name starting with K, and it was an apology or something. He said he saw where our teams were divided up and asked me to deliver it since he did not think he would be able to. Kurenai shot a look at Asuma, who just shrugged his shoulders. Kurenai sighed and opened the scroll, and when she did, a box of chocolates and 2 dozen jasmines with a blue fox holding a card. Kurenai blushed and opened the card and read it. Sensei Haim, I wish to apologize for embarrassing you in the Hokage's office last night. Even though I may have had a life with you before, it is not always the same. Each event in life depicts who and what we are. I may only know you a day of hundreds of lifetimes, but I will never know everything about you. I am sorry if I overstepped my bounds, and I hope we can still have a relationship. Whether it is as co-workers, friends, or whatever, I will respect your wishes. Sincerely yours, Kazama. Kurenai blushed as she read it and smelled the flowers and said, Kiba, thank you for delivering this for me, and I will also thank Naruto when I get a chance. We have other things to worry about now. Asuma said, from your friend from last night. Kurenai nodded and said, yes, I must thank him personally. Asuma nodded and said, Anko, figure out where he lives yet. Kurenai said, you heard any explosions yet? Asuma said, I take that as a no, maybe I should talk to him. Kurenai said, you will do no such thing. Asuma said, but what about us? Kurenai said, right now there is no us. And there is no me and him either. I am not saying there won't be, but I want to know him some first. Jealousy does not suit you, Asuma. Asuma said he is 8 years younger than him. Kurenai said, I am 4 years younger than you, and I am old enough to make a decision about this myself. Besides, age does not really count in his case. Besides, his eyes are my favorite color. Asuma sighed and said, I guess you're right. Just promise me to take it slowly. Kurenai said, Asuma, I did not know you cared. Asuma said, women. Can't live with them and can't take a kuniya away from them. Kiba said, who are you both talking about? Asuma said, probably the strongest ninja in the village. Ino said, the Hokage. Kurenai said, no, not him. Anyways, let's get our team meetings out of the way and get the testing done also. Everyone looked confused as they broke into individual teams. Back with Team 7, Naruto sneezes. Sakura looks at the clock on the wall and said, how late is this Kakashi going to be? Naruto said, how long has it been so far? Still with his eyes closed doing his exercise. Sakura said, 2 hours. Why? Naruto said, about another hour. Sasuke said, how do you know this, Kakashi? Naruto said, when I found out who were on which teams, I learned everything I could about them. Kakashi is quite famous. Sasuke said, why did you call him Sharingan Kakashi? Naruto said he has a Sharingan in one of his eyes, and no, he is not an Uchiha. It was implanted after he lost his eye. I don't know how or from who, but he has one. He is said to have copied over 1,000 jutsu. We could only hope he teaches us some of them. However, Naruto was thinking I will actually be surprised if he knows one that I don't besides Chidori. Sasuke just HMPD. Naruto sighed and said, Sakura, why did you become a ninja? Sakura said, for someone who seems to know everything, you don't know that. Naruto said, I'm sorry, I was trying to be friendly and a teammate. You became a ninja to impress Sasuke and defeat your rival Ino, who was going to be a ninja. You are the first female in your family to ever be a ninja, and you believe that Sasuke will save you from any enemies that attack us. Answer me this, Sakura. We get attacked by 20 enemies. I am fighting 5 ninja, Kakashi is fighting 5 ninja, Sasuke is fighting 5 ninja who are at least Chunin or higher in rank. Who is going to fight the last 5 enemies? Sakura said, that won't happen until we get stronger, so I don't have to worry about that. Naruto said, in the past 10 years over 60 genin have died thinking the same thing, Sakura. Are you sure you want to bet your life on that belief, or would you rather take the time to actually try and improve your skills? You might even be able to show Sasuke you are stronger than he thinks you are, and then he might date you. Not showing any emotions, though he hated using a girl's lust for the traitor. Sakura sat quietly thinking what Naruto had just said. Naruto was quiet for a moment and said, what the hell? And jumped off the wall, landing on his feet and looking at the door. Both Sasuke and Sakura looked at him, and Sakura said, what? Naruto said, he's early. And just then the door opened and Kakashi walked in. Naruto said, you're not late. Kakashi smiled and Sakura said, yes he is. He's 2 hours late. Naruto looked at her and said, never mind. So what are your first impressions of us? Walking to the wall, taking out the 2 kuniyas. Kakashi smiled and said, my first impression is, I hate you. Smiling behind his mask. Kakashi said, meet on the roof. And disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Naruto disappeared in a swirl of flames, leaving Sasuke and Sakura confused. When Naruto got up there, he said, what's the deal, Kakashi? You're never early unless someone threatens you. Kakashi said, leave Akage Bunshin and go see the Hokage. Naruto nodded and created one and left to the Hokage office. Chapter 5. When Naruto arrived in a swirl of flames in the Hokage office, the sight that greeted him was not what he expected. No, far from it. Naruto looked at the people there and said, pardon the interruption, Hokage-sama, Kazekage-sama. Kakashi-sensei said you needed my presence. The third smiled at the display of respect and said, yes, Naruto-san, the Kazekage has come today to discuss the arrangements of the alliance. Naruto nodded and said, I understand, sir. What is it you need of me, sir? Bowing at the 2 Kages. The Kazekage said, I have heard some interesting things about you, Naruto-san, but I was not told what I truly wanted to know, so perhaps since the third stated that only you could answer my question, as the current head of your clan, even though you are yet of age, you have to distribute the info. Naruto nodded and said, I suppose I would be honored to answer what I can without revealing clan secrets. I request that since you obviously have many questions and it will take time to answer as we drop the formalities of positions for the time being, and since I don't like to repeat myself, I also request that your 3 children who are outside in the lobby be allowed to listen, and seeing if everything goes as I believe they will have access to my clan knowledge as well. The Kazekage looked at Naruto and said, I have no problem with dropping the formality, but I do request how you knew my 3 children were here. Naruto said, simple, I have enhanced senses and can detect the family trait in yourself and the 3 in the lobby. The Kazekage nodded and said, allow me to get them. And walked outside to the lobby, closing the door. When he was gone, Naruto said, quick, did you say I requested it or you requested the marriage? The third said, I did. Why? Naruto was about to speak when the door opened and in walked the Kazekage, followed by 2 boys and a girl. The Kazekage said, Hokage-sama, Naruto-san, I would like to introduce my children. My eldest child, Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara. Each bowing except Gaara. Naruto walked over and said, it's a pleasure to meet you all. And kissed Temari's hand and then shook Kankuro's, and Naruto turned to Gaara and the Kazekage, and Temari and Kankuro tried to stop him, but Naruto surprised them all and hugged Gaara. Temari said, how? Naruto said, Shikaku can't hurt me. My bloodline stops the demon inside of him. Turning to look at the Kazekage and the Sand Sibs. The Kazekage paled and said, how do you know this, and what is your bloodline? Naruto walked to the window and sat down looking at them and said, perhaps I should tell you my name and who I really am so that we can get things off on the right foot. My real name is Naruto Kazama, son of Arashir Kazama. As for what bloodline I have the bloodline of the first Hokage, as I am also one of his descendants. For my own safety, I had my real name hidden until I was able to protect myself, which I currently can, but I won't take my real name until the day of my marriage. The name I go by now is Naruto Uzumaki. Kenkuro said, that still does not explain how you knew about Gaara. Naruto said, quick history lesson, boys and lovely lady. What was the event of the Yondaime Hokage, my father's death? The Kazekage thought for a moment and said, the Kyuubi attack. Naruto said, based on your own experience from your son, to think about what you actually know and what is public knowledge. The Kazekage thought for a moment and looked at Naruto, who said, I believe you understand now. The Kazekage said, he sealed it inside you, didn't he? Naruto said, correct, but the story does not end there. Because of my family bloodline, I was able to absorb it all. I should also tell you, whoever did his sealing was an idiot. Gaara will die in less than 10 years unless someone fixes his seal. I could do it if you would like. The Kazekage said, how can you claim that his seal is going to kill him in less than 10 years if you did not see it? Naruto said, when I hugged Gaara, his armor of sand parted at the seal enough for me to see it. Being a seal master myself, because of fear from Kyuubi, I can make or break seals better than almost anyone in the 5 shinobi countries. Temari said, why should we trust you? Naruto said, simple, I know the pain of loneliness having a demon sealed into you can cause. I don't wish that on anyone. If I can make his life better, then I have to offer. Especially on the chance we might be family soon. The Kazekage said, if you fixed his seal, what would happen? Naruto said, you have 2 options. He has a simple 3-star seal on it with a berserker seal over it. I can either put another 3-star seal on it, but Gaara would still suffer from the mental trauma of Shikaku and the berserker seal, or I could put on 2 4-star seals, which would shut the raccoon up and allow Gaara to sleep. He would still have his ability to use sand, and it could pass down to his children, but he would have to work on his control for about a month, but it might actually be better than it is now to get it back up to speed. Both options have benefits and setbacks. Either he still can't sleep and has his normal control but be in a state of insanity the longer it goes, or he can sleep and become calmer, but he would have to work on his control. Your choice, but I would do it within the next year, or the seal may degrade to a point where you will eventually have to seal all of his powers or release the demon and Gaara dies. Temari looked at her brother, and then the Kazekage said, what guarantees can you provide that you can do this? Naruto said, if I can't deliver what I promise, I will submit my life to your family. The third, who had remained quiet up to this point, said, Naruto, you can't do that. You are the last of your family bloodline, and, Naruto said, since the council does not know of the situation yet, then they can't object. The third cursed to himself as he knew that Naruto had him there. Naruto said, I can do the sealing at my home, and all of you can be present. Gaara will pass out after the sealing for at least a half a day from being so long without sleep. The Kazekage was quiet for a moment and said, let me consider this while we discuss the proposal of the wedding. The third said yes. That would be best. The Kazekage said, we were promised in exchange for this, then we would receive 10 A-rank jutsu, 15 B-rank jutsu, and 20 C-rank jutsu, as well as a percentage of missions. The third said yes, that is what was agreed on, but the percentage of missions and the exact details of the wedding have yet to be decided. The Kazekage said, I request 20% of all mission pays for the next 5 years. Naruto said, pardon the interruption, but I have a better proposal that would be beneficial to all parties involved. Everyone looked at him, and the Kazekage said, proceed then. Naruto said, before I give my proposal, I would like just an estimated guess to a question answered by you, Kazekage. The Kazekage said, very well, if I can. Naruto said, what would the average of total yearly pay be for the village of Suna for the last 3 years? The Kazekage said, that is sensitive information. Naruto said, I understand. Allow me to rephrase my question, is it less than $1.5 million a year? The Kazekage said, perhaps more or less. Naruto said, fair enough, I respect your secrecy of the info. Here's my offer. I am willing to pay $1.5 million to Suna for the next 5 years out of my own money, plus a total of 10 jutsu only as an agreement. There are some stipulations, though, I do request. The Kazekage said, proceed. Naruto said, I request that Temari has the right to decide if she wants this wedding or not, and that she will be visiting Konoha 1 week a month until the Chunin exams to allow her and myself to get to know each other. For this right, I will guarantee the first 1.5 million after the Chunin exams. I don't want her to feel I am buying her, and she is a bargaining chip. I can tell already she has a strong spirit, and I wish for her to keep that. The second stipulation is Suna and Konoha are not to attack each other. I have heard from a source that an enemy of Konoha is planning on trying to break Konoha and another country's alliance. I don't know which countries are involved, but the man who told me is a trusted friend. Since I doubt Suna would do it, then I don't have to worry, but I learned a long time ago to make sure everything is thought of. Since I don't have proof of this, I have not told the Hokage yet. Sorry, Hokage-sama. The Hokage said, I understand, but I would like for your source to let me know if he hears any more, whether it is concrete or not. Realizing what Naruto was doing, Naruto said, very well. If another country comes to you and offers to break our alliance or attack us, we request that you notify us within 10 days, and we will also should the roles be reversed. The Kazekage said, that is reasonable. What else? Naruto said, since I am the last heir of my clan, when it becomes public knowledge, I will have to have more than one wife. Temari has to realize that in advance if she agrees. Another stipulation is I have received information about a group of S-class missing nin that are after the tailed demons. Any and all information either country gets on them must be shared. I do not know who they all are, but I do know two. Sasori of the Red Sand and Uchiha Itachi. The Kazekage said, I have no information on this group, but we would appreciate any info you can provide. Naruto said, it will take me a few days, but I can make sure Temari has it when she returns from her first visit. I do have one bit of info on Sasori that you won't like though. The Kazekage said, what is that? Naruto said, you know how he makes human puppets, right? He has one that makes him very dangerous. Your predecessor. The one who went missing and can use the iron sand. The Kazekage said, are you sure of this? Naruto said, yes. I seen it about 3 years ago when he used it. Seeing as he is the only person I have ever heard of using iron sand means it was the Kazekage, and he was human puppet, and the man with Sasori called him that. The Kazekage said, I will let my people know. What else? Naruto said, I have not talked this over with the Hokage, but I think if both councils would agree that one team out of every Genin class that passes will be trained by the other village as a sign of mutual trust. That is all I can think of besides both Temari, and I will be considered a ninja of both villages after the marriage if she agrees. I do request, since the only people who know I no longer have the demon in me are in this room and 5 others, you must not tell anyone about it until myself and the Hokage announces that. The Kazekage said, that is an interesting deal, and I have a few stipulations myself, but I would like to know how you are planning on paying this if we agree. Naruto said, I left the village at the age of 5 and traveled and trained in secret. During my travels I made some business adventures with money I made from odd and end jobs. Without touching my family's money and doing any missions, I receive in over $6 million a year in revenue just from being a silent partner. That got everyone's attention. The Hokage said, what investments? Naruto said, I made some money and bought Jiraiya Publisher. He does not know it. The third paled and said, you bought that publisher. The Kazekage said, what publisher? The third pulled out a book and tossed it to the Kazekage, who looked at it and said, are you shitting me? Naruto said, nope. Anyways, do we have a deal? A certain broody Uchiha will probably kill my teammate before I get back, and we just were assigned teams today. Actually, never mind, the meeting just ended. Everyone looked at him, and he said, I left Akage Bunshin, so I did not miss anything with my team. The Kazekage said, may I have a word with my children in private? Naruto nodded and said, my offer to fix Gaara's seal is good whether you accept the deal or not. And he walked over to the Hokage. The Hokage said, the room to your right is a private conference room I sometimes use. You can go in there and talk. The Kazekage nodded and walked into the room, and his 3 kids followed. When the door closed, the Hokage whispered, what were you thinking, Naruto, telling him so much? Naruto said, when I showed them I could get through Gaara's sand defense without being killed, I scared them. The sand should have killed me, but it did not. As for what I said about the plant, you and me both know it is a lie, and the real reason QB is gone is a lie. As for the jutsu being promised, none of them are leaf jutsu, so nobody can say anything about that, and because of a deal Kyubi taught me, I have more money in dimensional storage than I can ever hope to use. I really do own the publisher and a few other things, but that is to legitimize all the money I have. I laid a careful trap. If he accepts the deal a few weeks from now, he will either come and tell us about Orochimaru or he will betray us. Gaara will do anything to shut that damn raccoon up, even kill his father if he gets in the way. I did not give enough info for them to know we know anything and gave him a way to save his village. It's time to see if he deserves to be Kage. The third sighed and said, I wish you would talk this over with me before you do this. I am a Kage after all. Also, what's this about showing them your home? Naruto said, I have built a safe house I can use and was going to show them it. My real house no one can find unless they know where to look. Just then the door opened and a sumo walked in along with Kakashi and Kurenai and a bruised-looking Anko. Naruto looked at her and said, try to find my house, huh? Anko said, shut up, Gaki. I should have known you had traps set up in there to protect you, house. A voice from behind the Jounin said, yes, you should. A kid as talented as Naruto here should be able to come up with some interesting traps, being a seal master and all. The Jounins turned and saw the Kazekage with his arms crossed. A girl a little older than Naruto with a fan on her back looking pissed. A boy with makeup looking at his brother and father, and a red-headed boy who looked to be straining. Naruto bowed and was panting a little like he ran for miles and said, Kazekage-sama. Allow me to introduce some of the Leaf's finest. Hataki, Kakashi, Yuhi, Kurenai, Mitarashi, Anko, and Asuma Sarutobi. This is the Kazekage and his family, Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara. The Jounins bowed and Naruto said, these are the 4 of the 5 I told you who knew about me no longer possessing Kyubi. I trust them each with my life and trust. The Jounins could not help but feel a little respect from what Naruto said, but did not show it with who was in the room. Also, the fact he was acting tired had them worried. The fact the red-headed boy was also panting was something they were worried about. The Kazekage nodded and said, I have discussed it with my family and we are very interested in your proposal. I request that Temari visit 1 week every 2 months since the Chunin exams are only 5 months away and her brothers both need to prepare. When she returns, she will be with her brothers this time, so you can fix that problem. Also, you should know that I agree to your secret, except if you make it to the finals of the exam you must use your true name. I want my daughter's suitor to be known for who he is, not a lie. Naruto said, I understand and agreed, but my true name must remain a secret until that time. If Temari decides she is in favor of this, then she is the one who will announce it first, as not to bind her to this deal should she not wish this. The Kazekage said, fine. Until we meet again. A pleasure as always, Hokage. And he walked out the door followed by his children. Naruto waited till they left the room and fell to his knees. Everyone gasped or called out his name. Naruto was panting and after a moment finally stood up. The Hokage asked what happened. Naruto said, damn raccoon and that fucking bastard. Asuma said, what do you mean? Naruto said, the redhead boy. He's the vessel of the raccoon demon Shikaku. Even with Gaara fighting it, he was wanting to kill us all back there. I was having to channel energy into this room to keep the Kazekage from figuring out there is a limit to how I can control the demon. I could not remove the blockers I have on without having half the village bursting in here. I bet the fucking bastard actually had Gaara releasing the demon some to test me. That's why I was panting. Kakashi said, what exactly was that about? Naruto sat in a chair and said, when I first came back I asked the old man here to arrange a political marriage with the Kazekage's daughter and me. I never intend to force her into it, that's why I made those stipulations where it would be by her choice. When they arrived today, I had a plan set up in case something like this comes, so I already knew what I was going to say. I bribed the bastard. Pure and simple. The Hokage said, let's not forget you intimidated him and also hinted we knew about someone wanting to break relations with us and our allies somewhat. Also, your making yourself a slave was quite an act. Anko and Kurenai said, what? Naruto said, the bastard is afraid of losing his village's secret weapon. Sure, the side of him that is a father would like to fix Gaara's problem, but the asshole never was a good father, so I offered him something to tempt his ego. The only person who has the power of a demon. Should the sealing go wrong, then he would still have his so-called weapon. The third said, are you sure you can do the sealing? Naruto said have before. I know enough about sealing to be a seal master. I lived enough times I can make the seal that held Kyuubi look weak if I wanted to. That made everyone pale at the possibilities. Naruto looked at Kakashi and said, did you really have to call me that during the team meeting? Kakashi looked up from his book and said, yes, it's not like you can do anything to get even with me though. Enko said, would he call you Gaki? Naruto said, bleach blonde dead last. And Kakashi, you underestimated me again. Kakashi said, why is that? Naruto said, I can make that book of yours not be released in Konoha if I wanted. Kurenai said, really, how? The third said, Naruto, you would do that. Naruto said, I will if he does that again. Kakashi, thinking it was a bluff, said, how can you be sure you can do that? Naruto said, like I told the Kazekage. Over the past few years I have made some investment and I bought a few companies. One such company is the publisher of that book, Pervert. Kakashi paled and said, you're joking, right? Naruto looked at Anko and smirked before he said, Anko, my house is not on the ground. The third said, so what do we do now? Naruto said, proceed as planned for now. When Temari comes for her visits, make sure my team only has Deerang missions so I can talk to her and get to know her and her me. If the council wants to know why you are letting me escort her around town, say that her father requested it. You have no idea why. Also, better start planning on announcing my real name when the time comes. The third nodded and Naruto said, is that all? Asuma said, I think Kurenai has something to say. Only to receive an elbow in the gut. Everyone looked at Kurenai after she hit him and she said, I do need to say something, but later. I need to gather my thoughts. Naruto nodded and said, CYA tomorrow, then Kakashi. Have fun. And disappeared in a swirl of flames. After Naruto was gone, everyone looked at each other and the third said, so what are you here for anyways? Kakashi said, I was coming to tell Naruto when and where to meet tomorrow, but I guess he knows the secret of Kage Bunshins. Asuma said, Kurenai and I have already tested our teams and they passed, so we just came to turn in the paperwork. Anko, who looked like she'd been through hell, said, I saw Kakashi and he said Gaki was here, so I came to talk to him to see if I could get any more info on where his house is. I believe it is in the western section furthest away from the village because that is where the traps I encountered were. The third said, what kind of traps? Anko said, anyone who did not know his way around would die if they tried to get through it. I lost 9 summons and triggered nearly 200 traps in a 100-yard range. Asuma whistled and said, I'm glad he's on our side. Kurenai said, I just hope the village does not do something to get us on his bad side. Imagine the earth and destruction that he could cause. The third nodded and said, okay, let's call it a day. Thanks to our visitor, I am behind on paperwork, so I need to get to work. Acting busy as everyone started to leave. When they were gone, he pulled out his Ika Ika Paradise and created 3 Kage Bunshins to do the paperwork. Chapter 6. As the 4 Jounins walked outside the Hokage office, Anko said, I'm hungry, you all want to come and get some dango? Kurenai said, sure. Asuma said, why not, don't have anything else planned? Kakashi said, sure. It's not like I need to get up early for anything. Anko nodded and started walking toward her favorite dango stand, Rig Tag. It only took them a few minutes to get to the stand, but the sight that greeted them was not what they expected. There was a sign that said, under new management, out front, but when they went inside they saw the old owner standing there working the register like always. Anko said, Leo, what's up with the sign? The old owner said, oh, that. I have been having money problems for a few years with the cost of shipping supplies in and everything increasing so much that I was afraid I was going to have to close. About a year ago, a guy came up and offered to help if he was allowed to be a partner. At first I told him no, but he kept talking and said only thing he wanted to do was bring in a few new items and get new supply lines. I was under contract with my old ones and could not change them until recently, but now the new lines are coming in, and so we decided to announce the deal even though he's been my partner for over a year now. Asuma said, so what new items has he brought in? Leo said, well, just mostly a few variations on dango, like some fruit and also some drinks. Nothing major because he did not want to change what my customers have liked for years. What surprised me was that he also helped the ramen stand down the road owned by that one guy and his daughter. The only thing he changed about them besides getting new ingredients is he wanted a few drinks that I don't carry. He said he did that to help our economy, and also he wanted to repay a debt of kindness. Hey, I'm not one to complain. So what would you have? Anko said, I will have the usual. Kurenai looked at the menu and said, give me one of those starfruit dangos, and I will also try the flame wine. I have not drunk any of that stuff in almost 5 years, as it's next to impossible to get. Kakashi said, I will have a shrimp dango and some sake. Asuma said, I will have the beef dango and some sake also. Leo nodded and said, have a seat and I will bring it out to you shortly. The group did, and Asuma said that was unusual. Anko said, what do you mean? Asuma said, well, usually when someone goes into partnership like that, they usually want to change names, change the menu, add their own ideas to the company. All this guy seemed to do was just make it easier to do what he already was doing and add a total of 10 items to the list like they were all his favorites or something. Seems like a lot of work to ensure that his favorite foods are available here, if you ask me. A man in the booth behind them with his feet propped up on a chair said, it is, but when I am in town, since I live alone, I like to spoil myself every now and then. All of the Jounins were caught off guard as not noticing the man sitting there, or even felt him eavesdropping on their conversation. Anko, hating to be caught off guard, said, it's not nice to eavesdrop on a conversation, buddy. The man who was sitting with a glass of wine, a bit of fruit in a bowl, and a book in his hand, dressed in a black pair of shorts and a white pullover t-shirt, said, I'm sorry for that, Anko. I did not do it on purpose. I just wanted to relax after earlier today and did not feel the need to cook myself. Asuma narrowed his eyes and said, mind if I ask how you know Anko, friend? Just then Leo came over with their food and said, oh, Erasure, I see you met some of my best customers. I want to thank you again for allowing me to make those new renovations that are coming. Erasure said, no problem, Leo. Like I told you before, as part of the deal, you have 400,000 a year to use for whatever you want, as long as you make sure the fresh fruit and my wines are in whenever I feel the need to show up, and as long as you never turn away a customer because another customer does not like that one. I feel everyone should be treated fairly no matter who they are. As long as they can pay the price on the sign, they are all equal, no matter if they're a king or a peasant or anything in the middle. Still not looking up from his book. Leo said, of course not. After helping me with so much, I would hate to do anything to upset my partner. Erasure said, is your son still planning on going to Rice Country next week? Leo said, yeah. His friend from childhood quit writing almost 4 months ago, and he wanted to check on him. Erasure said, Rice is having a sort of problem with missing ninjas right now. I know that he is stubborn and all, but I hope he will listen to my advice and hire some ninja. I told him I would gladly pay for it. He is a good author, and I would hate to see something happen to him. Leo said, I will talk to him again. I trust your advice since you've been right before. Well, I got customers, enjoy your evening. And walked back to the counter. Erasure sighed as he took a drink from his wine and turned a page in his book and still felt the other ninja keeping an eye on him. He said, relax, Asuma, even a genin knows better than to call out a total stranger's name like I did. Asuma said, then, if you know better, why did you do it, and who are you to talk to us so casually? Each of the ninja had a weapon in case he was an enemy. Erasure said, it never fails to surprise me when a ninja fails to look underneath right, Sensei Haim. Kurenai stiffened for a moment and blushed and said, so this is your disguise, Eneru, you a. As she closed her eyes in pleasure, she was cut off suddenly by Erasure putting his finger to her neck and sending a small amount of chakra to her pleasure nerves. Kurenai slowly opened her eyes, and Kakashi said, what was that, Erasure? Erasure chuckled and closed his book and said, I'm sure you understand why I am using my father's first name, but I just hit a massage point I learned over my lifetime. I figured doing that would have been better than saying don't use that name while I got this disguise on. Asuma said, don't you think you're being paranoid, Erasure? Erasure snorted and said, keep an eye on the street for the next few minutes and tell me if I am paranoid or not. Oh, and watch my stuff. That book is getting good, and I still like to finish my wine. As he headed outside and around the corner. 2 minutes later, Naruto walked by the outside of the dango stand with all 4 ninja watching what was going on. They were surprised by what they saw. Apparently word spread about Naruto being back in town because when he walked down the road, a fresh fruit vendor threw a rotten tomato at him and a man spat on the sidewalk in front of him, and Naruto said hi to a woman, and she pulled her kids away saying not to go near him, he's a bad man. About 5 minutes later, Erasure walked in and sat down in his seat again and said, the only people I have met that know I am back besides your 4, the old man and Ibiki, is Irika Mizuki, Who is in jail? The guy who takes ninja pictures and the kids at the academy. Just from a possible 30 people hearing my name and 27 of them not knowing about me has already spread across the village. I say by the end of the week the council will have a meeting and someone will either try to have me killed or kicked out of the village for being a threat. This village would take Orochimaru and Uchiha Itachi back with open arms and pardons if they had a choice of getting them and get rid of me or keep me and get rid of them. He grabbed his book and finished his glass of wine. He turned and said, "Enjoy your meals. Don't worry, Kakashi. I won't tell the other two the hidden reason behind the bell test tomorrow. The upset chicken-headed insignificant hard-ass will probably want to test his strength against me in a fight, and the pink harpy will think Sasuke is the best and will save her from anything, so I won't really care about showing any real skills during the test, but I will try to be a team player. I enjoyed the conversation with you all and hope we can do it again sometimes. It's nice to relax with people you trust." Anko said, "Question Gaki, how come you call her Sensei Haim, but never call me any type of affection?" Erashir said, "Simple Anko. I promised you in my past I would never call you those until I killed the Heba team. I keep my promises. Besides, you won't let any guy get truly close to you until you know that thing on your shoulder will never affect you again. That reminds me. After the exams, I will remove yours again." CYA as he started to walk to the door. Anko screamed, "Wait!" Everyone in the restaurant looked at her. Luckily, the owner, Erashir, and the 3 other Jounins were all that was in there. Naruto turned and walked back over and said, "Yes." Anko said, "You can remove it." Naruto said, "Level 1 I can, but only if the host truly wants it. For you I can, but with his pow." Every one of the Jounins who were looking at him a moment ago listening now heard a low growl and saw his eyes flash red for a moment, freaking them for a moment. They looked at him and saw his eyes narrow and looked out on the street to see what he was upset about. They saw a black-haired boy talking with a gray-haired boy with glasses. Kurenai said, "What's wrong?" Naruto watched the boys outside in silence a few moments and saw the black-haired boy hand the gray-haired one a folder. Naruto whispered, "Motherfucking traitor." Kakashi nodded to the others and put his hands on Naruto's shoulder, and they all leaf-shoe-shined to the Hokage's office. When they got there, Kakashi saw only the Hokage there and said, "Naruto, what was that about?" The third saw them arrived, and after hearing Kakashi call the man Naruto, figured it was a hench and listened as Naruto said, "I knew there was a connection, but never could prove it. That is how he got all our info." The third said, "What, Naruto?" Naruto walked over and powered a Rasengan and destroying a target dummy in the corner, surprising the others by both the Rasengan and the speed and display he made, and said that gray-haired boy was Kabuto Orochimaru's right-hand man and spy. He is stronger and more dangerous than you, Kakashi, so don't underestimate him when the time comes. He can regenerate from near death, so make sure you destroy his body. The other boy you all saw was Sai, with venom in his voice. Naruto closed his eyes because he is feeling his rage building. Asuma said, "What's so special about that Sai kid?" Naruto said he is a member of Root and Danzo's son. Silence filled the room at that. Naruto said, "I knew there was a connection there, but never could find it. I need to calm down before I go out and kill them both." Walking over and sitting on the windowsill. The third said, "What happened?" Asuma said, "We ran into Naruto in his disguise he has on at the Dango shop." Naruto was just explaining how he was going to remove Anko's curse seal when he saw those 2 men. "We saw his eyes change color and became concerned when he ignored us, and we saw the 2 men talk and one pass a package to the other. We brought him here to find out what that was all about and to calm him down." Naruto sighed and said, "I want to thank you all. Even with all my experience, I still act on impulse sometimes. I was not expecting to see that. I guess you, Kakashi, will be the only teammate I have that won't betray me." Kakashi said, "What do you mean, Naruto?" Naruto said, "Sasuke will try to kill me when he defects. After Sasuke defects, me and Sakura get specialized training. Me under Jiraiya and Sakura under Tsunade. The lifetimes that those events happen, we get a special mission to retrieve Sasuke. You are unable to because of injuries, so Yamato replaces you as our sensei and Sai replaces Sasuke. Now I find out Sai is working with Orochimaru pisses me off. As for what I mean by Sakura, if I show any skill Sasuke wants, he will promise her a date if he can't get me or you to tell him, and use her as his personal spy to look around my home or try and get me to tell. Sorry, I learned from my mistakes. Kurenai said, are you sure you're not jumping to conclusions, Naruto, about this Sai guy? Naruto said, old man, you know Sai, right? The third said, I have met him before, yes, why? Naruto said, what was his personality like? The third said, I don't understand. Naruto sighed, still in his erasure hinge, and said, Danzo groomed Sai since the day he could remember to be his personal servant. He forced Sai to become socially isolated. He has no emotions at all. He won't talk to anyone because he does not know how to. All he knows is how to kill and do whatever Danzo tells him. If he says to kill yourself with a smile on and cry at the same time, he will. He does not know how to think for himself. Do you see what I am trying to say? There is no way he would be on the street talking with someone unless Danzo told him to. He can't even leave Root headquarters without Danzo, okay? The third sighed and said, that is what I was afraid of when he wanted you to be a secret weapon for the village all those years ago. Just then the door opened up and the secretary said, sorry to bother you, Hokage-sama, but Hyuga Hayashi is here to see you. The third said, send him in. But notice Naruto had disappeared, but the others were still there and the training dummy was back in place again undamaged. Hayashi walked in and the third said, to what do I owe the pleasure, Hayashi? Hayashi looked at the four in the room and said, this is concerning something I heard today and might be discussed in private. The third said, I believe I already know why you are here, Hayashi, but go ahead. I need to finish talking with them after this anyways, so go ahead. Hayashi said, very well. I have received reports that Naruto Uzumaki is back. The third said, yes, what of it? Hayashi said, I also heard he is now a ninja of this village. Am I correct? The third said, yes. Why are you here, Hayashi? Surely you are not just here to learn if a few rumors are true. Hayashi said, certainly not. I was notified by several other council members, and they want to know why that child has returned and why he was allowed to be a ninja. They are also demanding to know where the child has been for these years. I came here to ascertain the truth of this. The third said, and what do you plan to do, Hayashi? Hayashi said that demon is too dangerous to allow back in this village. If he is not removed from this village, the council will have no choice but to remove you and have a new Hokage named. Naruto dropped the disguise in the corner and said, actually, Hayashi, the council would be overstepping its boundaries if it tried to remove me. Hayashi was surprised that he had not sensed the boy in the corner but hid it and said, why is that boy? Naruto said, oh, it's boy now. At least you're smart enough not to break the third's law while I am officially here in the office. Very well, I will tell you why the council can't. The laws of this village are on my side this time. Hyuga-san. Hayashi said, you will do well to show respect to your superiors. Naruto said, I did, seeing as I am a clan head myself and also a council member. This got everyone's attention, not knowing what he meant. Hayashi smirked and said, really now, boy? What makes you think you have either of those rights? Naruto smirked himself and said, allow me to show you. And he walked to the picture of the yondaime and cut his finger and put the blood on the picture, and it morphed into an open safe. Hayashi was surprised along with everyone else, and Naruto reached in and pulled out a scroll and said, this is the proof I need, Hayashi. And tossed him a scroll. Hayashi opened it and paled at what he read. Hayashi said, there must be a mistake. Naruto said, nope. The blood seal on the safe is proof, and if my grandmother comes to the village, then all it would take is a simple blood test. The third said, what exactly does it say, Hayashi? Naruto said, go ahead, I don't mind. I have my copy of that anyways, so if someone were to destroy it, I still have proof. Hayashi handed the scroll to the third and after thinking for a moment said, that proves you are clan head. That does not make you a council member though. Naruto said, actually. You are right. I actually have 4 council seats. Hayashi narrowed his eyes and said, what do you mean? Naruto said, I have my father's seat based on the laws of Konoha's charter state that all Kage's living or deceased closest living relative is automatically given a seat on the council forever. Second, I have my family seat since my family was one of the original clans of Konoha like yours, so that is my second seat. My third seat is mine because of my grandfather's family and because he is not here in the village and I am the only blood relation of his family in the village. I have his seat. The third said, I know Tsunade is your grandmother, but who is your grandfather? Hayashi said, yes, I would also like to know that. Naruto said, Kakashi is reading his book right now. Everyone turned and saw a copy of Ika Ika Paradise fall to the ground. Kakashi said, "You hate me, don't you?" Naruto smirked and said, "Yeep. Not only do I own the publishing company for those books, but my grandfather writes them. Now Hayashi, before you have a heart attack, I think you should know one more thing before the council tries to get rid of me." Hayashi said, "That is." Naruto said, "Do you know why I am able to not be insane after what this village has done to me because of the Kyuubi?" Hayashi did not answer, and Naruto said, "My bloodline. I have the bloodline to control demons just like the first Hokage. Now here is something the council better learn quickly, as it seems to forget the laws of our village charter." The third said, "What do you mean, Naruto? Even I am not sure what you're talking about now." Naruto said, "As stated by the charter of this village, any founding family member of Konoha that is from a founding clan has not only free travel to come and leave as they please, but also any structures or resources built on the lands that were divided among the original clans are always owned by those clans and cannot be taken away, given, or sold by anyone. They will remain owners of those lands and any buildings or resources of those lands for as long as the village of Konoha stands, and cannot be taken by the council, future Hokage, or any other person or persons of power." Hayashi said, "What exactly are you getting at?" Naruto said, "Hokage-sama, can you bring out the map of the current village of Konoha while I grab something out of the safe?" The Hokage nodded and grabbed the map, and Naruto walked back with an old scroll and opened it and said, "Notice anything?" As the scroll showed a map of the original Konoha. Asuma looked on and said, "My God." As everyone looked, Hayashi said, "That can't be right." Naruto said, "When I first saw it myself, I checked with the map in the archives, and they are identical. My family owns everything from the Hokage monument to the current south walls of the village. The Hyuga and Uchiha own everything from the academy to their compound. The Third's clan owns what they still own, as do the other clans. The reason my clan lands are like this is because we were the first to allow others besides clans to move in and gave them homesteader rights. Even though the village has prospered and everything, the law is the law. My family, as seeing as Tsunade and myself are the last two of our clan, own the entire village of Konoha from the boundary of the academy to the south wall north to the Hokage monument, which means that every building, including the Hokage Tower, hospital, stores, restaurants, and homes, are mine. The council cannot get rid of me. Oh, and just one more thing, Hayashi. Look at my body with your bloodline." Hayashi did, and was surprised, and seeing as his coils were larger than anyone he had ever seen, and it was all blue chakra except a small amount of red, and said, "How?" Naruto said, "I have almost absorbed all of Kyuubi's power as my own. As far as the council should care, by the time I'm 16, it will be dead, if not sooner. I'm sure you don't want to call me demon again, do you, Hyuga, especially with the power you can see is at my disposal to either defend this village as I plan to, like my family has, or if the village wishes to make me an enemy." Hayashi said, "I have a lot to consider. Trying to figure the best way to use this to his advantage. If what Naruto said is true, then he has Konoha by the balls." Naruto sighed and said, "Hayashi, I may not like you, and you may not like me, but I have a proposition for you I think you might actually like." Hayashi said, "What's that?" Naruto said, "How would you like to be rid of the cage seal on your family forever while still able to secure your bloodline?" This got everyone's attention, and Hayashi said, "What do you mean?" Naruto said, "Nobody knows my true skills because I left the village to train. During that time I have become a seal master of sorts. In fact, my skills helped me speed up the process to kill Kyuubi. After I become Chunin, I plan to go for my Jounin status right after and my seal master certifications. I have designed a seal after I heard the detail of what happened with Cloud and your brother." Hayashi narrowed his eyes, and Naruto said, "I know the entire truth, Hayashi, and Niji and Hinata both I feel lost on that deal. It's for them that I made a seal that would still seal the bloodline at death, but would make it where you could put it on everyone and not on their foreheads, but over their hearts. If you would like, I can have Hinata bring them by sometime this coming week and let you have your own experts look at them. I also can remove the cage seal if you want. The only real difference is the seal won't be able to torture a branch member like your current seal does. But if everyone is one, then you don't need a branch family, but that's your clan. I just thought I would try and make peace with your clan and mine. I plan to restore my clan, and I don't want my children to have to deal with any animosity if I can help it." Hayashi said, "Before I decide on anything, I would like to know how you know about the incident and what exactly you know." Naruto said, while I was traveling I met a missing nin from Cloud. He told me about how he was supposed to meet the man you killed and help bring Hinata back. He did not know I was from here at the time because I was hinged into a missing Miss nin. He told me about how they discovered the switch but was too late to object and how he was supposed to be killed because of his failure. I killed him and turned him in for the bounty Cloud had on him. Anyways, after that I went to Cloud and turned in a bounty on the man, and while I was there I broke into the record office and found out more info. Apparently they found out your brother took your place to save your life. I also found out that they had help from a Hyuga named Hairi in getting the details of your family home. Hayashi narrowed his eyes and said, "Do you have any proof of this?" Naruto said, "All I got is of the mission scroll the Cloud nin I killed had on him. He was supposed to destroy it, but used it as a bargaining chip to keep Cloud from sending hunters after him. It detailed when and where to meet Hairi and what he was supposed to deliver for the info." Everyone in the room was stunned at this, and Hayashi dropped his emotionless mask and said, "If you do have that, I will make you a deal." Naruto said, "Give me about 5 minutes and I will be back," and flamed Shushin away. Hayashi looked at the third and said, "Did you know this?" The third said, "No, only thing I know for sure is Naruto found out who his family is and then said he was leaving to train. He is back now, but almost everything from the time he left to when he got back I know nothing about. I will tell you this. What he has told me is true." Just then a flame Shushin appeared and Naruto had a scroll and looked at Kakashi and said, "Sharingan can't copy it. I mix my wind affinity with the demon chakra to cause the effect." He then walked over to Hayashi and handed the scroll and said, "Here you are." Hayashi opened it and began to read it and said, "I can't believe he would do that." Naruto said, "I believe it. From what I can tell, he is one of your council members in your clan. His father was going to be named clan head, but yours was instead, and I guess he has a grudge. Am I right about him being on your council?" Hayashi nodded and said yes. Naruto said, "Well, what is this deal you spoke of?" Hayashi said, "I will support your position as the current clan head and backing on the council. I will also agree to help with anything you need to restore your clan if I am able to." Naruto said, "Money is not an issue, and I want to state this now, Hayashi. I am not interested in an arranged marriage with your daughters. It's not that I don't like them or anything. It just I want my marriages to any woman to be love. I have an arrangement in the works, but I have already told all party involved that it has to be love and not responsibility. I will still have Hinata deliver the seal to you sometime in the next week. I do have a small request. I know that Niji is your nephew and his hate for the main house is clouding his judgment. Could you reveal the truth before the Chunin exams? I fear if he and Hinata somehow met he might use that forum to avenge his father." Hayashi said, "I will do as you asked. I do request that when your future weddings are I am invited, though I do have one question. Do you know who your mother is?" Naruto said, "For now, no. I am hoping to meet and convince Tsunade to return to Konoha, and if she does I will try to talk her into doing a blood test on all records in Konoha archives, to see if she can tell me who it is since she does not know about me yet." Hayashi said, "What do you mean?" Naruto said, "When Tsunade had my father the village was at war. She hid him in the orphanage to protect him from her enemies. My father did not know about her being his mother until he became Hokage and performed the same request I am going to ask of Tsunade. Since until I returned from my training trip the only person who knew I was Erasher's son was the third, I am using it to my advantage to get everything set up for my clan's return to Konoha. However, I do still have laws to protect me should the council try anything to stop me or my clan." Hayashi said, "If I may ask, how do you know the laws of this village so well?" Naruto said, "I have an almost photographic memory and can read the entire Konoha library in one day with a jutsu I know. I used that jutsu with permission from one of the Fire Lords who had copies of all laws of Konoha and its charters." Hayashi said, "I see." Naruto said, "Well, Hayashi, it is getting late and I know you have a lot to think about, but I would like for you to keep what you heard here a secret until I make it public. I don't want to cause a riot seeing as I am considered a demon of the village instead of the hero my father wanted. Have a good evening, everyone." And flamed Shushin away. Hayashi turned and saw the third looking at him, and the third said, "Now Hayashi, I would like to remind you about my law. Don't let me catch you calling him a demon again or I will take actions." Hayashi nodded and said, "Kazama-san said he had an arrangement in the works. Might I inquire as to what it is?" The third said I am not at liberty to say at this time. I can tell you it will either be finalized or cancelled by the time the finals of the Chunin exams. Hayashi nodded and said we really messed up, didn't we? The third said I may not know his exact skills, Hayashi, but I can tell you this. He is stronger than his father. Hayashi paled and said I see. Perhaps I should do everything I can to help him and his clan. If what he said is true, his clan would be a welcome addition to any village. Kakashi said, what do you mean? Hayashi said I know what he was referring to when he said he still had other laws that protect his clan. As clan head, he has the right to call for a vote of all current members in the village. He has the right to remove his clan and seize all of his clan's holdings and move them should 3/4 of the clan in the village agrees. Since he is the only clan member in the village, he can take his clan to any village he chooses. The third paled and said I hope you will do what you promised, Hayashi. If he becomes upset without village, he can destroy it without lifting a finger. Hayashi nodded and left. The Jounins looked at each other and Anko said Gaki was right again. The third said what? Kurenai said earlier when we told him he was being paranoid hinging in public, he showed us he was not by walking down the street as himself and saw the villagers being cruel. He also said the council would try to get rid of him by the end of the week. Looks like that started also. Kakashi said, why do I keep feeling like I am the child when he is in the room? The third said because ever since I met him at the age of 5 and he told me the truth, I felt the same way. Asuma said I want to know how he did that to you ate the restaurant. Kurenai blushed and said none of your business. I need to go. And she left in a swirl of leaves. Kakashi said you really enjoying this, aren't you? Asuma said yeep. I think she could use someone in her life. Kakashi said I thought you both had a thing going. Asuma said well we just hang out mostly. Hell, the last 2 times we tried dating we never even kissed. Kakashi nodded and said you have anything you want me to work on, Hokage-sama? The third said try to evaluate him if you can, Kakashi. Kakashi nodded and left in a swirl of leaves. Anko started walking toward the door but stopped and said I know the Gaki has a reason for not doing it now, but do me a favor and find out why he won't remove it now for me. The third said I will, but it will be hard. Anko nodded and melted into the floor. Asuma looked at the third and said so what's really going on, Dad? The third said honestly I don't know. The more I think I understand the less I actually do. Asuma said do you really trust him? The third sighed and said truthfully. No, it's all too convenient. If what he says is true then I have no choice but to trust him, but it's all a little hard to believe. I am going to get a hold of my former students and find out if what he said is true. If it is, then I have more proof than his word. Asuma said I should let you know that he is buying into a few business in town. Either he is truly saying the truth or he is setting something up. The third nodded and said for now I want you to train your team normally. I may change everyone's training if I find out later that he is telling the truth. I hope my lack of faith does not come back to bite me or this village in the ass. Asuma nodded and left. Neither the third nor Asuma detected the small plant fade into the ground in the corner of the office. In Naruto's house, he slowly opened his eyes and said, I hope so to old man. I hope so too. Looks like I will have to do things myself for a while. Perhaps someday someone will actually trust me once they know who I am. And he put his book back into the shelf of his library and walking upstairs to his bedroom.
Thank you for your views, likes, subscriptions, and overall support of my ongoing efforts to bring great content to all of you. Check out my Patreon for more mature fanfiction. The link is in the description and like everywhere on my channel.